It's the definition of a rivalry. This rivalry has been fueled in no small part by the Raiders' notorious attitude. And Al Davis has had tonight's game in mind even before the season began.
When we come into other stadiums, we know when they start booing right away, we know that there's a fear element, that the mystique of the Raiders is still at work, and that we somehow or other are going to find a way to dominate.
It's the 67th meeting of the Raiders and Chiefs. You'll see it tonight on ABC Monday Night Football.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Are you ready for Frank and Al and Dan and their KC show? We're gonna make you smile and get rid of your blues and do the Monday Night Football boogie for you. You're ready for some football. The Raiders and the Chiefs are coming your way. It's Monday Night Football and it's time to play.
The heartland of America, Kansas City, Missouri, on a beautiful night for football. Arrowhead Stadium, it'll be jumping tonight as the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Los Angeles Raiders in a renewal of a rivalry that goes back to the very first year of the old AFL. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford along with Al Michaels and Dan DIERDOFF. Welcome to Arrowhead Stadium. Important football game for both of these teams tonight. The Kansas City Chiefs come in. They are 2-1. They win tonight. They're 3-1. They stay even with the Denver Broncos in the AFC West. They play the Denver Broncos next Sunday as they start a tough part of their schedule. Meanwhile, for the Los Angeles Raiders, this could be it. This could be their season tonight. They're 0-3. They have lost ugly. They have outgained each of their three opponents by over 100 yards. Nevertheless, they've been able to lose those football games. And now I get a sense of a feeling of desperation with this Raider football team, and something I've never felt about them in the 22 years I've been covering them on a Monday Night Football is a feeling of desperation.
Frank, you don't want to overstate the importance of an early season game, but as Kenny Loggins put it, this is it. Make no mistake. This game is vital for the Raiders. They're 0-3 for a variety of reasons. Defensive breakdowns, bad special teams play, but most of all turnovers. They have turned the ball over 13 times in 3 games, and that's more than once a quarter. If they win tonight, they get their confidence back, and they can say, oh, we were just a little bit unlucky, we'll be okay. Lose tonight, and that Raider mystique, at least for this year, becomes a mirage. Tonight they face Kansas City. The Chiefs think they can go to the Super Bowl. What do you think, Dan?
Well, Al, the cream of the crop here in the AFC certainly is the Buffalo Bills. So if you are going to go to the Super Bowl, you have to go to Buffalo and win. And the question is, are the Chiefs good enough to do that? Well, they certainly think they are. They think they've improved dramatically on offense with the addition of Dave Craig. Their vertical passing game is much better than it ever has been, and defensively they might be the best defensive team in the AFC, and they're going to confuse their looks tonight, their coverages, and really try to get after the kid for the Raiders, Todd Marinovich. It ought to be fun.
Sold out at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. The chanting has already begun. Todd Marinovich, who did not play a down in the National Football League until Jay Schrader was hurt last year, and then he played in the season finale against KC and in the playoff game last week against Cleveland in a game in which the Raiders trailed from start to finish. He had to throw 59 times for 395 yards as the Raiders went down to defeat 28-16. Tonight the Raiders will get the ball, Kansas City to kick off. It's a gorgeous night. Temperature in the upper 60s. Nick Lowry puts it in the air, and Napoleon McCallum from the 4-yard line, comes back up past the 20 to the 25. McCallum re-signed last week. Tim Brown hurt tonight, so Knapp runs back kicks. Marinovich, who would have been a fifth-year senior at USC this year had he stayed in school. Instead, at the age of 23, he's the Raiders' #1 quarterback. And behind him, at least at the outset, Eric Dickerson starts along with Steve Smith. We'll see Marcus Allen, Nick Bell as the night progresses. Gould and Grady are the wideouts. Ethan Horton, the great tight end. Wilkerson, Wisniewski is the best of that 5. Mosbar's had a great career. Pete the guard and right on the other side. First down from the 25. And Eric Dickerson cannot get untracked and is stopped for no gain by Derek Thomas, the outside linebacker, number 58. Let's take a look at that Kansas City defense. They play a base 3-4. Neil Smith really coming into his own, having a great year. Saliamua blocks up the middle, and Moss, a good right end. Martin didn't play last week. He's back. Randall and Simeon inside, and the great Derek Thomas outside. Lewis and Ross, the veteran corners. Bayless, plan B pickup from San Diego at one safety, and Charles Mincy at the other. Deron Cherry has retired. Lloyd Burris has retired. A new look in the Chiefs secondary. On 2nd and 10, here's Dickerson exploiting the hole and taking it to the 31-yard line. Thomas and Simeon in on the tackle, and that will set up a 3rd and 4 at the 31.
Todd Marinovich, as Al pointed out, would have been a 5th-year senior. He left after his junior year, and in reality, he has only started 15 football games at the college and pro level. That's truly remarkable, and at times he shows it. At other times he shows flashes of brilliance.
Frank, I'm hoping that stat really sunk in with everybody. Since high school, 15 football games where he's been the starter. It's really mind-boggling.
Here's Marcus Allen, who comes in on 3rd down, and Allen escaping, but still taking the loss back at the 23-yard line. They brought Allen in, as they sometimes do, because he's a good pass receiver, but they tried to fool the Chiefs by running Marcus, and the Chiefs weren't fooled, and the Raiders are forced to kick.
And Art Shell, when he looks at the way Kansas City defensively has started this game, knows that that's exactly what they wanted. This is a team that doesn't mind starting on defense. They feel that they set the tempo, and they certainly did with that 3-down series.
Jeff Gossett, who dropped a snap last week that led to a Browns touchdown, gets off a very good kick that he angles out of bounds near the 25-yard line as they mark it off. And it will be spotted at the 26-yard line. Kevin Ross came in that time and nearly blocked it.
Well, the Chiefs are very good at blocking punts. Kevin Ross has blocked a couple. Over on the other side, Albert Lewis has blocked a bunch of them. He's had 10 in his career. They work on it. They're a very good special teams team in every respect because they work hard at it.
And if you're wondering why there was no flag there, you could see that Ross was knocked into the punter by Steve Smith, the personal protector, and because of that contact and altering his course, the referee wisely threw no flag. Bob McElwee is our referee here in Kansas City tonight, one of the NFL's better.
At the 25, first offensive play for the Chiefs. 2 minutes and 16 seconds into the game. And this is Barry Word to the outside, and he can't get on track. Nice tackle by Aaron Wallace, 51, knifing in to stop him behind the line of scrimmage. Let's look at the Kansas City offense. They felt the one guy they needed, the one change they had to make was at quarterback. So they went out and they got the longtime Seattle QB Dave Craig, now in his 13th season. He has Word behind him. We'll also see Okoye later. Bill Jones is a blocking back. Fred Jones and Tim Barnett the wideouts. Hayes a good blocking tight end. All's been around a long time. Grunhard playing very well at center. 2nd down and 12 at the 22-yard line. Against the 4-man front, Barry Word gets outside and is out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Winston Moss corralled him a little short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and about 2.
The old television commercial was, "Where's the beef?" The beef is in the Kansas City backfield, Al, with the size of their running back.
And particularly against these linebackers, they're not big. In the middle, Ricky Ellison, when they're in their run defense, goes 225. Moss about 240. That's not big. Wallace about 235, and it could be that the Chiefs get away with a face mask here.
That's Lionel Washington, number 48, the face-masking cornerback of the Raiders. He got it out in a hurry, though. None of the officials saw it.
So it's 3rd down and 2 with Jones, the fullback, Word, the tailback. Here's Word, and he can't pick up the first down. So it's 3 and out for each side. Ricky Ellison is the first guy to make contact with him. And so the Raiders are able to stop Kansas City, and they'll have to punt. The Chiefs had scored on their first possession in every game this year, either a touchdown or a field goal, and now they can't even pick up a first down. McCallum, the former Navy star, was cut by the Raiders at the start of the season, but with Tim Brown hurt, Brown has a pulled hamstring. They re-signed McCallum this week. Brian Barker, the punt. Oh, beauty. Good kick. McCallum at the 19-yard line, gets a block, and then runs it back out to the 24-yard line. A 5-yard return after a 48-yard kick. McNair makes the tackle. 10:45 left in the first quarter in Kansas City.
ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. The Los Angeles Raiders versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old. Get into the cold. By GE. From plastics to financial services, we bring good things to life. And by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be.
Beautiful night for the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes from Pompano Beach, Florida, to be hovering ahead. Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City on a gorgeous early fall evening.
This was the punt. Brian Barker, number 4, the punter.
He was admiring it, Dan.
And that's why punters wear shoulder pads, too. Elvis Patterson of the Raiders gives him a holiday greeting. Halloween's just a couple weeks away.
Holiday greeting if he's Jewish. At the 24-yard line, 1st and 10. Here's Eric Dickerson. Loses the football, but he was down. Ball comes loose. There's still a scramble, but the whistles have sounded. The play is over. The Raiders have it after a 1-yard gain. Chris Martin makes the tackle.
I know you touched on it earlier, Al, but I don't think we could say how important it's been to the Raiders. They are minus 10 in the turnovers in 3 games. That's incredible. And meanwhile, Kansas City is plus 7. That's a 17 differential. And how important turnovers are, and they have really cost the Raiders dearly. They have outgained each of their opponents, you can see. Their ranking with that minus 10. But they have outgained their opponents, each of them, by over 100 yards, yet they are 0-3.
Here's Dickerson on 2nd and 9. And Dickerson picks up just another yard. Sally Amua makes the tackle. Eric has, well, he hasn't been complaining, but he hasn't been carrying the ball much. In fact, last week he carried the ball about a half dozen times early on. Then you never saw him again. And you saw Marcus Allen, who comes in here, and Nick Bell the rest of the way.
Well, they got down 14 points so quickly to the Cleveland Browns. Eric Dickerson is a running back. He's not a receiving back. And they took him out. You never saw him again. They brought this man in, Allen. Here's a guy with over 4,000 yards receiving, as well as those 8,000 plus rushing the football. He does a lot of things, and they had him in there last week because they were in trouble.
On 3rd down and 8. Marinovich over the middle, and the catch is made by Marcus Allen, and he has a first down. He is stopped by Benny Thompson, and he goes limping off after a 10-yard pickup. And Frank, you mentioned 4,000 receiving yards to go with more than 8,000 rushing. The only other man in the history of this league to accomplish that daily double is Walter Payton.
Allen goes up for this football, and he limps off. Remember, he had a bad knee a year ago. He took a tremendous shot there, and even though he got off the field on his own power, he took a shot from Benny Thompson that looked like it might have hyperextended the knee.
Exactly what I think, too, Frank. It looks like he took a hyperextension when he got it.
That's the first down of the game. And Marinovich is going deep and incomplete as Willie Gauld for a moment had beaten the secondary, but the pass floated, and Lewis and Mincy both got back there.
Oh, if that pass is on the other hash mark rather than the near hash mark, that's a touchdown. Willie Gauld was 2 to 3 yards in the open, and the pass really sailed off to the one side to where Gauld couldn't get it.
Todd Marinovich is not known as a long ball thrower. He can put it down there a long way. There's no question about it. But he doesn't have the strength, the accuracy that perhaps Jay Schrader does, as a matter of fact. He is more of a touch passer. He floats the football. Every now and then he throws a dipper, gets the nose down on it, goes right into the turf. But he is improving every time he gets a call to start.
2nd and 10, and they give it to Steve Smith as a change of pace. He's the fullback. Carries out to the 41-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and 6 with 8:20 to go in a scoreless first quarter in Kansas City. Art Shell with Terry Robisky. They don't call Robisky an offensive coordinator, but he does run the offense.
He's in the book as the tight ends coach, but I don't know what you call him. He looks like a duck, quacks like a duck. He calls the plays. He must be an offensive coordinator.
Well, that's just the Raiders' obsession with being cryptic about who does what.
Highly secretive.
Yeah.
3rd down and 6. Allen is back in there. Marcus goes out into the pattern. Marinovich looks the other way, and Marinovich throws incomplete. Willie Gault well covered. Kevin Ross was back there, and Mincy coming over from the safety spot to provide help, and the Raiders will have to kick again.
And Marinovich really, I think, did the wise thing. He threw a pass that only Superman could have caught because of the coverage by Ross. This is textbook coverage by a cornerback on a fast man.
Chiefs have 2 of the best cornerbacks in all of football, and they might have 3 now with their #1 draft pick, Dale Carter. But you saw wonderful coverage by the Pro Bowler Kevin Ross. Over on the other side, Albert Lewis, also a Pro Bowler. This year they're healthy. Last year they weren't.
Ross will be coming from the right of the screen. He's always in, it seems, as Gossett sets up at the 25-yard line. And this is a floating wobbly kick that takes a Kansas City bounce and is down at the 26-yard line. It's only a 34-yard kick. Chiefs get it. 7:38 remaining first quarter in Kansas City. That's an early season giant. The Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles each had a bye week, an off day yesterday. Undefeated, Veterans Stadium. Next Monday, Dallas and Philadelphia. As Kansas City takes over, 26-yard line, 1st and 10 with no score. 7:38 to play in the opening quarter. Dave Craig over the middle, incomplete, and he had Bill Jones floating out there. Jones, a blocking back who never carries the ball but does catch it occasionally, and he was open over the middle and the pass was overthrown.
Oh, and Craig pats his chest. My fault, and that's so uncharacteristic of him because he is so accurate in the short to middle range passing game. And look how open Jones is. And why not? Because you don't anticipate him getting much into the action. He is basically the blocking back, as Al pointed out. 1 rushing attempt thus far this year.
Second down and 10. Now they line Jones up as a wingback on the left side, and now they line him up as a wide receiver. Kansas City showing a very different type of formation, and Barry Word would have gotten more, but he ran into his own man. Ricky Ellison makes the tackle. He ran up the back of Jonathan Hayes. There's Ellison in on the stop again, and it'll be 3rd down.
And we talked about the fact that Kansas City has now beaten the Raiders 5 consecutive times. And not once have they won by more than 6 points. That's how close these games have been.
It's 4 regular season games and the playoff game last year, the wild card game here. 3rd and 7. Kansas City at its own 29. Under 7 minutes to play. No score first quarter. Ronnie Lott is up at the line of scrimmage, showing blitz, but dropping back into coverage. And the catch is made by McNair, but he's short of the first down. Todd McNair makes the catch up at the 34-yard line, and Anthony Bell and Ronnie Lott make sure he doesn't get the first down. So again for the Chiefs, it's 3 and out.
McNair, of course, no secret on 3rd down for the Chiefs. He's the man they go to. They will even bring him on the draw, the running play. He moves into the little open zone, but Ronnie Lott is right there along with Anthony Bell to make the stop short of the first. Chiefs love him on 3rd down.
Now Brian Barker to punt. Napoleon McCallum back to receive. McCallum makes the catch at the 26. And sprinting downfield, Dale Carter, their #1 draft choice, along with Benny Thompson, the Plan B pickup from New Orleans, to make the tackle. 40-yard boot. 6:03 left in a scoreless first period, and now it's time for our regular feature on what's new in the world of sports science and technology. Saturday, that's a great matchup from the Orange Bowl in Miami. It begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Florida State, third ranked against the second ranked Hurricanes of Miami. Then second half of the doubleheader, some of you see number 1 Washington hosting USC. Others, Iowa taking on fourth ranked Michigan. All this Saturday. And on first down at the 26-yard line, Neil Smith comes across the line. And the question is, was he induced? We'll find out from Bob McElwee.
I believe the tight end for the Raiders took a premature leap.
Number 90, offense, before the snap, 5 yards, still first down.
One other note on college football, those 2 games, by the way, on Saturday, if the game in your region, the second half of the doubleheader, is not the one you prefer to see, call your cable operator, and it may be available to you on pay-per-view.
I'll be calling, you can be assured, for the SC game. Dan, I'm sure, will be checking out Michigan, Iowa.
And who knows who Max Montoya will be watching. Former UCLA guy. Partial to those West Coast teams. He's on IR right now for the Raiders.
They miss him, Dan.
Yep, they sure do. He's a fixture at right guard. He's on IR. Be back hopefully in another 4 weeks or so.
Tim Brown with a hamstring. That's why McCallum is back on the punts, and he's out at wide receiver.
Here's Dickerson. By the way, that was a curious call by McElwee. He said offside number 90. That would have been Neil Smith, but clearly the penalty was against the Raiders as somebody moved up front. So from first and 15, they go to second and 12.
It was Andrew Glover, the tight end, number 87, who false started and drew Neil Smith across the ball. Well, we've had a wealth of first downs so far in this game, huh? As in, not many. Not many. The Raiders would like to get one here in this drive, get something going.
Second down, 13 from the 23. Here's Dickerson again. Nothing there.
Interesting. Eric Dickerson. We have Marcus Allen. We have Barry Word, Christian Okoye, and we don't have a first down. We have the 1 first down,
which came on a pass.
Not a first down rushing, which is really amazing. You look at Eric Dickerson and think back, he has not had a run over 21 yards in 3 years.
He has not had a run of 10 yards this season. And tonight, 6 carries, 11 yards. That's less than 2 yards a carry.
That will not make you a happy camper, those kind of numbers.
No, sir. And every year we're told that Eric is a happy camper. But he wasn't in Indy. He's been okay with the Raiders emotionally, but at this point, productivity has been way down. 3rd and 12. Marinovich chased by Thomas, throws to the tight end, Ethan Horton, and he can get only to the 30-yard line. Lucky to hold on to it. Tackled by Neil Smith. It's 4th down, and Gossett comes in for his 3rd punt.
When you can't, and we've got an injured Raider. Looks like Steve Wright is limping off the field there. We're holding his left arm, a shoulder problem or an arm problem on the left side. But that's one of the beauties of the Kansas City defense. When you can drop 7 and only rush 4 and still flush the quarterback, boy, what an easy way to play defense that is. Whoa.
Ooh, Gossett lucky to get that one away. And it's dropped at the 25-yard line by Dale Carter. He has nowhere to go but out of bounds, and he is shoved out of bounds after Darryl Malone came flying in and nearly blocked the punt. That's a 45-yard punt and -5 on the return for a net of 50 as they work on Steve Wright. Scoreless first quarter in Kansas City, 3:50 left on the clock. Well, here it is, September 28th, 1992. On September 28th, 1892, they actually played a night football game in Pennsylvania featuring 2 small schools. So the 100th anniversary of night football, believe it or not, tonight. No score in this one, 3:50 to go in the opening quarter from the 20-yard line. Barry Word for only a couple. Up from the corner came Lionel Washington to make the initial contact, and they work on Steve Wright, the left elbow.
Understand he's going in for an X-ray, and we've already told you that Max Montoya, the right guard of the Raiders, is on IR with a knee injury, so the right side of that offensive line, the struggle already is going to be further weakened, Dan.
Looks like Reggie McElroy will be the next guy in, and what's really critical about this, is that the offensive tackle is the guy that's got to take care of Derek Thomas, one of the great pass rushers in football today. And there's McElroy, and he better button that chin strap, because number 58 right there is well aware of the fact he's got a new guy.
On 2nd and 8. Craig's throw is too low, intended for J.J. Burton at the 31-yard line, and it is 3rd down and 8.
That ball just thrown into the turf now. 2 poorly thrown balls thus far by Dave Craig, and again very uncharacteristic in that short game, because one of the things the Chiefs liked about him, he is so accurate. And that time we have seen 2 first downs given up by Craig with open receivers.
A beautiful look there at Arrowhead Stadium.
Fantastic.
If this isn't one of the fine football environments, college or professional, hard to find anybody in this stadium that's not wearing red and or white.
3rd down and 8 at the 22-yard line. 3 minutes to go. No score. Opening quarter. Craig protected well. Fires to the 30-yard line. Jones made the catch, had the first down, and then came back and doesn't have it. Jones had the first down. He was over the 30-yard line and then came back, and that costs him.
Yeah, he was confronted with Torin Dorn, and Dorn actually knocked Jones back, but he gave up the ground as well.
These are one of the things the Chiefs gave up a year ago when they let Robbie Thomas go and Stephon Page, veteran receivers who knew where they were in a football field at all times. And you just saw Jones give up the first down there.
So the Chiefs still don't have a first down. The snap is a little high, but then Barker's kick is a boomer. Wow. Fielded by McCallum at the 20-yard line, and Napoleon gets hog-tied at the 29 by Lonnie Martz. So 3 times in a row, the Chiefs have been 3 and out. The game has featured, and I use that word in quotes, 1 first down, 2:12 to go in the opening quarter, and we have a penalty marker down and a call going against the Raiders.
After the ball is kicked.
After the ball was kicked.
The receiving team will keep the ball. 1st and 10 after the enforcement for their foul.
Still Chiefs ball. Meanwhile, the Raiders, and we touched upon it early on, 0-3, but they're the first team in the history of the league to start the year 0-3 and outgained their opponents by more than 400 yards. And as you can see, especially on the right-hand side in the right column, they've outgained each of their opponents by more than 100 yards. Last year, they more than doubled the Cleveland total. And yet, when you look at the standings, well, they're already well behind Denver.
And you see 2 of those, Frank, are in the mid-400s as far as yardage, and I don't think they're going to reach those kind of figures against this defense. It's too good.
And, of course, last week, even though they doubled the output of the Cleveland Browns did not turn the football over. They did not give up a sack, and Marinovich was sacked, 4 times, and he had 3 interceptions, 5 times, and had 3 interceptions. That was the difference in the game. That, of course, and Eric Metcalf had a dream game.
Only 4 touchdowns.
First down, Raiders from the 10 after the penalty. 2:12 to go. Opening quarter. Now Marinovich for the first time is confronted with crowd noise. The play clock is down to 5. He gets it off. He gives it to Dickerson, who swings to the outside. And Eric can only get up to the 13-yard line, where he is stopped by Martin Bayless.
That time Neil Smith was hit at the line of scrimmage, and he recovered to be part of that tackle, and he is it Neil Smith that's slow getting up? Yeah,
sure is.
90.
And Thomas.
You talk about throbbing hearts all around Kansas City, and Smith is coming out.
These are the 2 corners. Smith tough against the run, developing into a fine pass rusher. And tough to concentrate on Smith when you have Derek Thomas on the other side. Take a look. He takes on the lead block. He's okay there. He gets into the pursuit. Dickerson cuts back. In on the tackle. And hit by his own man.
Looked like he just fell awkwardly on his teammate. One of the premier defensive linemen in this game.
Mike Evans and Leonard Griffin come in along the front. On 2nd and 8, flag. Marinovich throws. Nobody is even close. Ethan Horton was the intended receiver, but he was well covered, and there's a marker down. Bob McElwee says it's against the Chiefs.
Ooh.
Hands to the face. Number 63, defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
Bill Moss.
Well, it works both ways. The defensive lineman can't use his hands to his advantage if they get up in the face mask area of an offensive lineman. Let's see if we can find it. There's Moss 63 to the top of the screen, working against Wisniewski, and there's the right hand up underneath the face mask of Wisniewski. The umpire was looking right at it, and a very fortuitous penalty for the Raiders as it gives them a first down.
And when you look at that shot, in all probability, he had him by the shoulder pads and was trying to direct his block.
They reset the chains. That was the reason for the momentary stoppage. First down at the 18-yard line. The fake to Dickerson. It's the first play action we've seen, and that throws the backers and opens it up for Grady, who makes the catch at the 45-yard line. Stopped by Charles Mincy.
And you mentioned buying time, Alan. That's exactly what it was. A crossing pattern by Grady, who comes all the way across the field. But Todd Marinovich, keep in mind, working to his left, is left-handed. So that's a very natural throwing motion for him. And there, of course, Jay Schrader patrolling the sidelines. But moving to the left is easy for a left-handed quarterback. And Grady comes all the way across the field. Well-designed, well-executed play.
A well-thrown football. They work the zone.
They work on Neil Smith. It was a 26-yard gain. This is the fullback Steve Smith up the middle, picking up 3, gets to the 47, and then Ethan Horton and Derek Thomas get into it. A couple of Pro Bowl players.
And there's nothing new in watching a Raider and a Chief have a hold of each other's face mask.
All you need is Alex Wallow side by side with these two teams.
Nothing new about that. Right there at the bottom of the screen. Horton, Thomas, and they keep going after the play. No flag, no foul, nobody hurt. But a demonstration, I think, of the emotions that are running on this field right now. Makes it kind of fun.
15 seconds to go in the quarter. Second down and 7. Marinovich throwing into Chiefs territory, and that's Willie Gault doing a toe dance and making the catch at the 40. There's also a flag down in the middle of the field at the 39-yard line. And another one back at the line of scrimmage. One call is holding against Kansas City. Let's see if there is a second penalty here.
I'm not sure Bob McElwee knows there's a second one.
Holding number 58 defense. That penalty will be declined. First down.
Well, there's also one at the line of scrimmage as well, so we're going to assume that's against Kansas City.
Well, the official who threw that flag picked it up and walked it away, so obviously it was against Kansas City.
Derek, the bottom of your screen, 58, and that is number 88, Ethan Horton, who he had the confrontation with a short while ago. No question about that one. He did it right in front of the linesman and was also picked up downfield.
Well, the fact that's all he has to do is watch the tight ends release from the line of scrimmage. If you did that 10 times, you're going to get flagged 10 times. You cannot get away with a hold like that.
Of the first quarter.
That is the end of the first quarter. Raiders moving. The game is scoreless, and we'll return with Monday Night Football after this message and a word from our ABC stations. As we start the second quarter, Neil Smith, the great defensive end for the Chiefs, has a slight concussion, and they are listing his return as questionable. For the moment, Leonard Griffin, 98, spells him at left end, and as we start the second quarter, it's first down for the Raiders. The fake to Marcus Allen. Marinovich under pressure, then throws a duck that's incomplete. It was all he can do to avoid the sack. Marcus Allen, the closest receiver, and Derek Thomas was the pursuer.
You saw the quickness of Derek Thomas. He put the pressure on Marinovich, flushes him out of the pocket, and then doesn't allow him to escape.
Well, that's a matchup I think the Raiders have a problem with. They're asking Steve Smith, their fullback, to pass block Derek Thomas, and that's a flawed scheme. I just don't see how Steve Smith is as good a lead blocker as there is in the NFL from the fullback position, but he is not going to pass block Derek Thomas. No way.
2nd and 10. Dickerson, the tailback in the eye. Eric gets the ball. Eric has his first 10-yard run of the season.
Goodbye.
20, 30, 40 yards for the touchdown.
It just exploded through there. Over the right side where the Raiders have been troubled. They lost Steve Wright early in the game. Max Batoya's on the sidelines, and they blow it open for Eric Dickerson.
Well, I mentioned Steve Smith being one of the fine lead blockers. He gets 2 Chiefs on this play. Credit Steve Smith. Great blocking at the line of scrimmage on the right side. But right there, Steve Smith blocks both Urban Randall and Tracy Simeon. He takes both Kansas City middle linebackers out of the play. And when it's a foot race, Charles Mincy is not going to catch Eric Dickerson.
Mincy got caught almost up to the line of scrimmage.
Jager's extra point is good. 14 seconds into the second quarter.
Watch Smith. There's Randall. There's Simeon. He takes them both out of the play. And this guy knows how to do the rest.
Eric Dickerson, a 40-yard touchdown run behind some great blocking.
He's thanking Steve Wisniewski right there, his left guard, who came all the way around with a big block as well.
He just buried Martin Bayless.
Don't think offensive linemen don't like to have their back padded by a running back after a touchdown. It's important to them.
Jeff Jager sends his kickoff inside the 10. It's fielded at the 6-yard line by the rookie Dale Carter. And he brings it back out to the 19-yard line where he's tackled by rookie Derek Hoskins. ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Dodge. In the car business, you lead, follow, or get out of the way. And by cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old and get into the cold. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorff. Eric Dickerson, counting tonight, had been averaging 2.7 yards per carry. And I think he's just enhanced that. It's up to 3.5 with that one run. And meanwhile, here comes Wright, who had x-rays taken on his shoulder. And apparently the result was good enough that he's trotting back out and appears to be ready for some action a little bit later. Craig gets sacked back at the 12-yard line by Greg Townsend. Townsend, a late signee. And so he reported not in the greatest shape. And it's the first sack for the Raiders since opening day. Their first sack in 3 games.
And the 96th career sack for Townsend, who really is in a position where he's just really trying to guard to keep Craig from breaking contain, and makes his burst upfield. Howie Long got a big push on the other side and was in a chase position.
We saw how quick Greg Townsend is, 6'3", 275. Claims those 96 sacks. He is so quick at the line of scrimmage. Craig is a pretty agile quarterback.
Meanwhile, they worked on Townsend, and Willie Broughton comes in to spell him. It's 2nd and 17, and Craig has it deflected and is lucky it wasn't picked off. Andre Bruce, who was the #1 pick in the entire draft by Atlanta in '88, is the guy who breaks it up. 3rd down.
This is Raider-type football. They love to get you down. They love to maul you a little bit. They love to push you around. Craig looking for the check-off receiver, and up goes Andre Bruce, who basically is a pass rusher, even though the Raiders were playing down in their 4-man line set.
There is Townsend, who came off after that sack. It's 3rd and 17. The Chiefs do not have a first down in the game. 13:57 to go in the half. They have to get to the 29-yard line. Here's McNair underneath, and he's tackled at the 13, and the crowd gets restless as Barker comes in for the 4th time. Anthony Smith makes the tackle.
What's frustrating about that for Kansas City is the Raiders only rushed 3 men, dropped 8 back into coverage, and they run a short screen, and one of the 3 men ends up making the tackle. Now that's not a well-designed play or well executed.
Well, certainly a very conservative one, Dan. I think Marty said, hey, this thing's out of control at the moment. Let's take it easy. Let's don't get the turnover. A lot of football to be played here. We're only down by 7.
And it's a theory that has worked well, and a philosophy that's worked well for Marty Schottenheimer for a long time. He does not believe in beating yourself.
Here's Barker's kick, and it's a wobbly duck. It's a 35-yard kick taken at the 48-yard line by McCallum. and he runs it back to the 36 of Kansas City, where he's tackled by Lonnie Martz. So 4 times the Chiefs have gone 3 and out. 13 minutes to go in the half. The Raiders have the ball and a 7-0 cushion. Kansas City, 13 minutes to go in the first half. Raiders on top 7-0. Marcus Allen and Art Shell conversing along the Raiders sideline. Raiders take over at the 36-yard line of the Chiefs. Neil Smith is back in the game, number 90 for Kansas City after the mild concussion. Marinovich says something to Dickerson with the crowd noise building. Eric gets the ball, and Eric fights for 5 to the 30-yard line. There's a marker down.
There's 5 yards out of nothing if it stands. Totally bottle capped at the line of scrimmage. Nailed down tight, nowhere to go, and Dickerson bounces outside and gets some positive yardage. And
No infraction on the play. No infraction on the play.
so it stands. The flag is picked up, and as a former defensive coordinator, Marty Schottenheimer not happy with his group letting Dickerson get away.
Well, these two teams have been battling it out since 1960 when the Raiders were in Oakland and the Chiefs were in Dallas. And there it is through the years. Each has scored 150 touchdowns in a series, an overall series in which the Raiders have a slight edge through the years. Dickerson this time gets tripped up before he can get started. He is tackled at the 30-yard line. Derek Thomas is in there. Dave Adolph, the former Raider assistant, now the defensive coordinator of the Chiefs.
Derek from the three-point stance. He's so quick, and you might have noticed too the number 90 is back in the game. Neil Smith. Derek Thomas on one side, Smith on the other, who's rapidly developing into one of the premier.
I don't know.
They're tough on the corners.
I don't know how he could take that angle and get in on the play. Marvelous.
3rd and 5, and Marcus Allen is in the backfield along with Smith. Allen stays in the block. He helps out on Thomas. The pass is thrown in Grady's direction and is broken up by Dale Carter, the number 1 draft choice, the rookie from Tennessee.
And oh boy, not often the number 1 draft choices play like number 1 draft choices in their rookie year. This man's man-to-man coverage is exceptional. It's the strength of his game, and this is why. Gets a hand on Grady. He's feeling him, not holding him, just measuring where he is.
Well, Dan, we talked earlier about the 2 cornerbacks, Lewis and Ross, Pro Bowlers many times over. You're looking at a future Pro Bowler.
Well, what is it about this Kansas City uniform that you put it on and you play cornerback like that?
48-yard field goal attempt for Jaeger, and that's a knuckleball that floats to the left.
And it will give Kansas City field position at the 30-yard line.
Well, after the Raiders' field position, to come away with no points is disappointing. Kansas City's defense has given its offense good field position. They've done nothing to date.
The Raiders continue to pin the Chiefs. Right now, the Chiefs begin this drive at their own 30-yard line, and that will be their best field position of the night. But as you see, nary a first down, 3 and out 4 straight times. But here's Barry Word for an 8-yard gain up to the 38-yard line. Anderson and Wallace make the tackle. It'll be 2nd down and 2.
When you looked at that field position, I mean, it really wasn't that bad. 3 times in the 20s and once at the 19. But they have just got to grind out, even if they don't score any points, a couple of first downs to let their defense get a blow over on the sidelines. 27 total yards, doesn't get it.
2.1 a play, but they do pick up the first down. As a flag goes down, Ricky Ellison made the tackle.
I knew it was too much.
Yep. Word going through the middle to pick up 3, so we'll wait and see.
Well, this may go against the Raiders.
Bob McElwee is the referee. It does go against the Raiders, so it is Kansas City's first down. And they can take the penalty because they'll pick up more yardage on that than they would have on the play.
Holding, number 33, defense, enforced from the end of the run, 5 yards, pushing.
Listen to the crowd. The Chiefs ought to start high-fiving each other in the huddle.
Interesting. Eddie Anderson coming up from safety was the holder. I don't know who the holdee was.
There's Anderson, the second man down.
Playing the bump and run. That's the hold right there. No question about it. He grabs Fred Jones.
And it's enforced from the end of the run, so they tack on the yardage. It's up to the 46-yard line. And it is a first down, and Howie Long comes across. Was he induced by David Lutz?
Encroachment, number 75. Defense.
He was not.
Chiefs have been going on a fairly short count through most of the game. That time Dave Craig comes up. Long count. Howie Long is cocked, ready. He couldn't help pulling the trigger. No veteran like that will be reading the count of the quarterback, and Craig was into a rhythm. He changed the rhythm. Howie Long is drawn off.
Think there's any mileage on that neck roll of Howie's? That baby is, the plastic's worn off the eye. He's down to the foam.
They've been gnawing on it.
Into Raider territory. It's first down and 5 at the 49-yard line. Nowhere. Barry Word gets stopped by Andre Bruce at the 50-yard line. It'll be second down and 6. By the way, a very odd statistical situation. When the Chiefs picked up that first down of theirs, the penalty was assessed from the end of the run, so the penalty gave them another first down. It was actually 2 first downs on one play.
That is unusual.
Yeah, for those of you scoring at home.
Scoring up here.
You've done too much baseball.
Yes. Hey, we're right across the parking lot from the baseball stadium.
And these guys are right under the blimp. I like shots like that.
Second down and 6. At the 50, 9:40 to go in the half. 7-0 Los Angeles. A fake a la DeBerg for Craig, but then he gets sacked at the 48-yard line by Andre Bruce.
Oh,
6 guns, huh?
Yeah. Giving us a little the Tim Harris action, huh? With the holstered 6 guns.
Yeah, he goes to those guns rather quickly, considered, I think, his first sack in a couple of years.
It was excellent protection initially. Dave Craig had a lot of time to survey the field. Bruce jumps inside Barry Word and chases Craig down from behind. And that is really where his niche, I think, is going to lie in the NFL, and that's rushing the passer, either from an up or a down position.
3rd and 8. That's Willie Davis in motion. And there's no play here. Flags fly at the snap.
I think we'll get a false start here. Yeah.
Number 79, offense before the snap.
Davis.
5 yards, still 3rd down.
Zott moving, and that makes it 3rd and 13.
He's the left guard. He'll be the second from the top, and apparent he gets the quick start. So we've seen jumping on both sides of the line of scrimmage on this drive.
That changes things dramatically, too, for Kansas City. We've also already watched what Marty Schottenheimer likes to do in a situation like this. Very conservative. The man they often go to is McNair out of the backfield, number 48.
The last 3 times the Raiders have come with only 3 guys. Let's see what they do here. Still only 3.
And Craig fires, has an open man at the 43. That's Tim Barnett. And his first catch of the night is a Kansas City first down as they convert on 3rd and long.
The Raiders blew the coverage several times against Cleveland a week ago. They paid dearly for that, with Metcalf scoring from a way out, and that was no question but just blown coverage. And taking it deep, no major move on it, Dan. He just takes it to the outside and sprinting away from his Dan Land in there in the nickel. Certainly should have been playing up a little tighter on him.
And he didn't want to go down at the end. Look at this. It's going to be Anthony Bell, 59, that finally comes in, and I think it's more or less, it was actually Grunard that actually took him to the ground. There's Gunther Cunningham, the linebackers coach, but in reality, I think we can call him the defensive coordinator of the Raiders.
Craig on first down from the 31. Word is there, and Word is hit by McDaniel just as the ball gets there. Crowd wants a flag, but there is none. Second down.
No, and I'm not sure there should have been either. I think that was just a nice play by Terry McDaniel.
Yeah, we rave about the cornerbacks of the Kansas City Chiefs. Terry McDaniel, one of the premier cornerbacks around also.
Perfect timing.
He got there a little early, but he didn't get his hand in there until the ball had made contact, or at least close enough that he wasn't going to draw the call. That's a good play.
Well done.
2nd and 10, 7:46 remaining. First half in Kansas City. Raiders on top 7-0. Raiders seeking their first win of the year. Chiefs come in 2-1. On 2nd and 10, here's Barry Word, runs into his own man and escapes the tackler, picks up a first down, and is submarined at the 19 by Ronnie Lott.
Chugga, lugga, lugga, lugga.
Well, what a load he is at 245 pounds. When he gets it going north and south, he will really put a hurting on you. Struggled right at the line of scrimmage and maintained his feet. Runs right into Zott with some kind of a block out in front of him. Hurdles one of his downfield receivers. He is a load.
Kansas City can throw some muscle at you. And it does start to show in the second half.
This drive began at the Chiefs 30. So they consumed 51 yards. And Word gets a few more. Inside the 10 to the 3. First and goal.
This one, remember, started back at the 30-yard line after that long field goal attempt.
And Dave Zott, the left guard, gets another sensational block.
Was he a 7th-round draft pick, Dan? Turned into a starter as a rookie?
Boy, he just got a fabulous block right at the line of scrimmage. The whole offensive line in there as well. And Barry Word here is really starting to make an impact on the Chiefs defense. I mean, on the Raider defense, rather. Uncontested for 7 or 8 yards. The running back screen.
Got a 7th-round pick in 1990. First and goal at the 3. Fake to Word, roll by Craig, keeps, touchdown.
Well, you run the ball downfield, you come at the fake, the bootleg. The Raiders have got to be thinking run.
Well, give a lot of credit to Jonathan Hayes, the tight end. He realized at the last moment that Craig was going to run with the ball, and he delivers the block. Watch 85 here. He'll come in from the right. There's his block right there. He puts Ronnie Lott on his backside, and David Craig gets a touchdown.
Craig very quick on his feet, a quick read. Sees he's not going to risk it into the end zone. Good block, as Dan pointed out by Hayes.
Lowry for the point after. They go 70 yards. Craig scores his first touchdown in 5 seasons. And I believe there's a flag down in the end zone.
On the field against the defense. The point is good. The penalty will be assessed 5 yards on the kickoff. Timeout.
So after the Raiders miss a field goal, Chiefs march 70 with 6:03 to go in the half. 7-7 in Kansas City. The Raiders in Kansas City locked up 7-7, a series that has been very close in recent years, and in fact through the years. This heated rivalry has produced some extraordinary action. And tonight, well, we're on our way to just another in a series of games between 2 storied rivals from the AFL days. Napoleon McCallum comes straight up the middle and takes it out to the 35-yard line. He is tackled there by Charles Mincy.
And they're going to get Benny Thompson for a late hit.
And meanwhile, before we get a look at the penalty, Keith Jackson is in Malibu right now in Southern California. Thumbs up because Keith has just signed a 4-year deal with the Miami Dolphins. As you know, Keith is one of 4 who was granted free agency the other day by David Doty, the judge in Minneapolis. And the window was from last Thursday until tomorrow, and Keith has just signed with Miami. He is a new Dolphin. We will talk with him live at halftime.
I like his lifestyle, too. He played for Philadelphia, signed with Miami, and he's in Malibu.
And I like, yeah,
That's getting around.
obviously killing himself to get to Miami. Keith, I'm glad you've delayed your departure to be with us at halftime.
He will do wonders for Miami. Great receiver and a superb block.
So after the penalty, it is a first down at the 50-yard line. The penalty for the late hit on Benny Thompson. 5:53 to go in the half. And Marinovich is going to air it out. Going deep for Grady, who has to adjust, and it's incomplete. Albert Lewis with the coverage on the play.
Well, they went deep to Grady, testing Dale Carter, who was in briefly for Albert Lewis, who had some rib problems. Lewis has come back onto the field replacing Carter. And Lewis, again, a Pro Bowl cornerback, stride for stride with Grady. Had that been a perfectly thrown ball, maybe. And Grady should have caught it anyway. He came back to the ball. That was a very catchable football as Lewis overplayed it.
Second and 10. Marcus Allen in the game. Marcus has the ball, and Marcus goes nowhere. Great tackle by Martin Bayless. The safety playing up on the line. The plan B pickup from San Diego stops him back at the line of scrimmage.
I'm trying to figure out why the Raiders didn't audible out of this play. You've got the strong safety right up on the line of scrimmage. Tried to get him with the lead back, but Martin Bayless, a sure tackler.
I wonder how many audible opportunities they're giving the young quarterback, Marinovich.
Loss of 3. Marcus Allen tonight has carried the ball twice for -10.
Frankie raised a valid point. Certainly not the load that Schrader could handle, being the veteran that he is.
3rd and 13 now. 4-man rush. Smith puts the heat on. Marinovich steps up, dumps it over the middle, and dumps it right into the arms of Terry for the interception. Doug Terry returns it to the 41-yard line.
Todd. Now, your young quarterback is going to do dumb things like that. He's going to do great things for you because he has great potential, but no way he should have thrown that football.
And Dan Saliamua was the man on the turf.
One of the best attributes of Marinovich is his brashness, his cockiness, his feeling he can make something happen. At times, it can also be his worst enemy. And that was the case there.
He was in the arms of Bill Moss, but you don't throw that up there.
You cannot win the game on every play. Sometimes you just have to take it the way it is. That's a sack. He should have just gone down. Instead, he's cost his team dearly.
They work on Saliamua. Meanwhile, Doug Terry, the kid who made the interception, is a rookie free agent out of Kansas. I don't know how many of you saw the preseason game we did in here at the end of August, but there is Terry. The last time we saw Terry, he was immobile on the field. It took them 15 minutes to cart him out and take him to the hospital. As it turned out, thank God, he was not only fine, he makes the team, and that was a long shot to begin with. And here he is intercepting a pass on Monday night.
He did scare us that night. August the 24th, wasn't it, against Buffalo? And he is a big hitter, and he puts the head in there first, and he often has paid the price for it. And right now they're looking at Dan Saliamua.
And he is the anchor in the middle of the Chief defensive line.
He's the push man that Neil Smith uses on the outside. Derek Thomas uses on his side.
Saliamua is the nose tackle. Here he is right here. Let's take a look at him. Follow him on the end of this play. He's going to get caught in the middle there. Oh, and there you can see, looked like the left knee. Oh, and that looked like it just caught him totally off guard. He didn't see that coming at all. And that is what they're moving. You can see them flexing the left knee.
Gary Rubitsky on the sidelines with head coach Art Shell and talking it over with Ethan Horton and Marcus Allen.
Takeaway, giveaway, and oft times the teams that are up near the top in that category at the end of the season do very well. Here it is, Kansas City since 1989, a +37. Philadelphia's had some great years, Skins you know about. Pittsburgh, strangely, a +25, and the Giants a +24.
Yeah, but that's remarkable, Al. You think of Philadelphia, somebody would have asked me that. I would have, without having seen our research on it, I would have said automatically Philadelphia. But I mean, they have a commanding lead over Philadelphia. And he believes in it. He plays percentage football. He's an old defensive coordinator who has turned the offense around here with the Kansas City Chiefs.
A splendid organization here in Kansas City. Marty Schottenheimer is the coach who benefits from having Carl Peterson as the GM and president of the club at 31-19-1. This is a solid organization that Lamar Hunt has put together in Kansas City. And some coaches have won no matter where they were, are winning where they are, and will win wherever they go. Marty Schottenheimer is one of those people.
Well, in full years with the Cleveland Browns, he was in 4 playoffs in those 4 full years, 3 AFC Central Division titles, got to 3 AFC Championship games.
Well, right now he's concerned about one man, and that's Dan Saliamua, the rock in the middle. His backup is Tom Sims. Keep in mind, too, Darren Mickle, who was at the University of Florida and opted to go into the supplemental draft. A defensive lineman was picked by the Chiefs a couple of weeks ago. He is exempt right now, but they'll have to make a decision on whether to activate him next week before the Denver game. So they have him available, and there is the backup to Saliamua, Sims.
Well, they could bring Bill Moss back into nose tackle. He played there before Dan Saliamua came here as a Plan B free agent in '89 from Detroit. So Moss could go back there if they have a problem with Sims.
They'll worry about that later. Right now they're on offense at the 41-yard line. 4:53 to go in the half. The game tied 7-7. Here comes Lott up on the corner and then backing off as Word takes it down to the 37-yard line. A gain of 4. He is stopped by Anthony Bell. It'll be second down and let's call it 7.
Dan said something very early on in this game, that the offensive line for the Chiefs are a real load. They're big, they're strong, they love to run the football, and if you're smallish, as the Raiders are, particularly at their linebackers, you could begin to wear down.
It is not a big front 7 for Los Angeles. They are, from a poundage standpoint, outmanned by this Chiefs front. It's a quickness style of defense the Raiders prefer to play.
2nd and 7. Raiders start to jump. There go the flags. And Barry Word takes it to the 29 before he gets gang tackled.
The Chiefs are not going down easily. There are 4 Raiders climbing all over Barry Word before he finally goes down.
Run, Barry.
We have not seen Christian Okoye yet in the game. They also have Harvey Williams, who's been hurt but is available. It's been all Word in the first half. There is the Nigerian Nightmare, and I'm sure we'll see him before the night is done.
I think we will, Al. They'll let Word go as long and as hard as he can, and then they'll bring the Algerian Nightmare in there, and he will really pound you.
It was offsides against the Raiders, and look at this. 1, 2, 3. Here comes the 4th Raider, and finally it's just their sheer weight that takes Word to the ground.
Saliamua with a left knee sprain. His return is questionable. You caught a glimpse of Okoye on the sideline. Chiefs have it at the 29-yard line. First down. Barry Word again. Oh, what a move. 8-yard gain to the 21-yard line.
Just went right under a would-be tackler. I think it was Aaron Wallace. Had him lined up in his sights, getting ready to drill him, and Word, the big man, 245 pounds. Watch him plant that right foot, lower the shoulder, slip a tackle right there. Gets away from Aaron Wallace and gets a 7-yarder out of it. That's superb running by a big man.
Second and a short 3. Word has picked up 71 yards on 13 carries. Averaging about 5.5 per carry.
Looks like an audible by Craig.
And he goes Word's number. First down. He takes it to the 8. It's a first and goal for the Chiefs.
All right, now the Chiefs offensive line is dominating the line of scrimmage, and when you start to run like this, the Raiders are going to start thinking nothing but run, and that's when you can come with a play action pass, and the Chiefs are so good at it. This is an audible and a good one. Good pick by Barry Word. And Grunhard and Lutz and Zott just zone blocking right up front.
Toss in Baldinger and Alt, the 2 tacklers. They are, as of now, controlling the line of scrimmage.
2.5 left in the half. First and goal. Here's Word. Bangs his way inside the 5 to the 4.
Again, Kenny Wolf, see if we can show this play again. And look at the way the Raiders are just blown off the ball. Watch the white shirts go backwards. Ronnie Lott is going to be unblocked the way a safety is. And who wins that confrontation?
How many times have you seen Lott do that to a running back?
2-minute warning.
Oh my God, Barry Word is 245 pounds. He outweighs Lott by 40 pounds.
And the bells are ringing for Lott.
Goodyear blimp hovering above Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, where the Raiders drew first blood tonight, leading 7-0, but the Chiefs countered on a 70-yard drive, and now another long drive has them at the 4-yard line. Not really a long drive, but a very effective one. 2nd down and goal at the 4. Word is the tailback. Jones is the fullback. Barnett is in motion. Barry Word kicks it again, but this time runs into 3 Raiders, including Ronnie Lott, and it will be 3rd down and goal.
Well, he earned the right to carry it again. He's the only guy that's touched the ball this entire drive, and now Word is going to come out of the game and come over to the sideline as a fresh set comes in.
3 wide receivers, and of course Todd McNair, who works so well out of the backfield. But the Chiefs had 187 yards rushing last week against Houston, averaging over 5 yards there. So they can pulverize you on the ground.
3rd and goal.
And you got to look at Mr. 3rd down.
Clock running, 1 minute and 15 to go in the first half. Craig throws, and that's incomplete. Barnett couldn't hold on. He was covered by Dan Land, and it will be 4th down and goal.
Well, I don't know whether he would have got into the end zone, but that's one he certainly should have had.
Curious to watch a power team like the Chiefs go into the spread formation down on the goal line. Ball should have been caught. You can see that Craig delivers it sidearm, and a very effective and just couldn't be any better. Barnett just doesn't handle it.
Now Lowry for a 23-yarder should be automatic, right? Well, last week he missed a 20-yarder in Houston. Shortest miss of his career.
That head will be down this time.
Yep, Parker to hold. And Lowry booms it through. So they come up with 3, but that's good enough to take the lead. .103 remaining in the first half. The Chiefs, as we stated at the top, 2-1, trying to keep pace with the Denver Broncos, whom they will face at Mile High next week, and the Raiders simply looking for their first win of the season. For Lowry last week, it was the best of times and the worst of times, as he put it. He established a record most 50-yard field goals in the history of the National Football League, and then he missed that 20-yarder.
And it didn't bounce off the upright either. He shot one off to the left. It's the equivalent of putting your drive on the #1 tee over on the #9 fairway. It was as ugly a kick as a guy could strike.
I haven't sent you the tape for a lesson, the one he hit.
Ronnie Lott, 10th Pro Bowl last year. Man's gone to the Pro Bowl as a strong safety, a free safety, and a cornerback. 3 separate positions. And they are molding his bust for Canton, Ohio already.
59 career interceptions, most of any active player around. And he's still a buster. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to handle somebody like Barry Word when he gets ahead of steam, and he was coming right at Ronnie Lott with no one even slowing him down a moment ago.
Lowry's check. McCallum takes it at the 10-yard line. He gets run down at the 26-yard line. Keith Cash is there for the tackle, and the Raiders take over at that spot with all 3 timeouts left and 59 seconds on the clock.
Now, this will be interesting to see how aggressive Art Shell wants to be with young Mr. Marinovich at quarterback.
Well, Keith Jackson, we told you moments ago, he has signed a 4-year deal with the Dolphins. We will also talk live with Troy Aikman, the Dallas quarterback, with Randall Cunningham. We'll talk about his comeback this year, the great Philly start, and his reaction to Keith Jackson. Here's Marcus Allen on first down going nowhere. And Marcus tonight, every time he's touched the football as a ball carrier, he has lost yardage. And Kansas City here takes a timeout. So the Chiefs are telling the Raiders, hey, we're going to stop you and get the ball back.
Did you see the look on Marcus's face? I think Marcus thought that the Raiders took the timeout. It was almost like, what are we doing stopping the clock? You didn't do it, Marcus.
I hate the phrase in your face, but that's almost an in your face timeout right there. When you stop it with 49 seconds left, 2nd and 11, the Chiefs are saying, come and get us.
Come and get us.
And it's a major in your face. They feel they've got him.
And I think it's a legitimate philosophy here by Art Shell in not putting Marinovich in a situation of trying to force the ball downfield. It's a 3-point ball game. Go ahead, go to halftime. It's just that the Chiefs aren't going to allow them to do it.
Exactly. We've seen the momentum swing both ways here tonight, and one of the reasons the Chiefs will do something like this, they have a field goal kicker in Lowry who has a 59-yarder to his credit. The most field goals over 50 yards of any field goal kicker in the NFL history.
I'd come up with some kind of a play that the Raiders have run with some effectiveness where Marinovich is on the move. Let him come out on the corner, try to break contain. Nothing there. All he has to do is throw the ball over into the bench.
2nd and 11 at the 25-yard line. Marinovich nearly sacked, then is at the 14-yard line by Neil Smith. So much for that slight concussion.
Neil Smith.
I wonder if that move has a name. What would the swing? I mean,
that's his 3rd sack of the year.
Timeout, Kansas City.
He's turning into quite a pass rusher. Great against the run, and now he's developing into an outstanding pass rusher. And Marinovich, who had just thrown that interception a moment ago, is not even thinking about delivering this one.
And no tearaway jerseys in the NFL. Showing. Hey, with that follow through, you'll never end up on the number 9 fairway. I'd like to be a golf ball and look up at him.
Wasn't that long ago we were...
I'd fall off the tee.
Wasn't that long ago, Dan, we were watching him quiz him over the sidelines. You and I have gone through those quizzes before. Where are we? What are we doing here?
Oh,
Who are we playing?
This guy is a class act. Neil Smith, a quality person, and just a sensational defensive end.
Would be the 2nd player taken in the draft back in '88. Came along very slowly. There was a lot of question about him going that high for Kansas City, and he has answered all of those questions and more. Him on one side, Derek Thomas on the other. They've got a defensive unit.
3rd down and 20 at the 15. The Chiefs have taken the 2 timeouts, so they have 1 left with 43 seconds. And Marcus Allen now up to the 19-yard line, and all the Raiders are doing is making Kansas City use its final timeout, which they have to do here because they know they're going to have to punt and hope that Craig can't lead them at least into field goal range without a timeout, and by the time they get it, under a half minute.
Hey, and what you do, you come after the punt. Kurt Schottenheimer, the special teams coach, there with his brother Marty talking to the guys.
Well, they've blocked so many over the years, too. Albert Lewis, the cornerback, I talked about it earlier, has 10 punt blocks of his own.
He wrote the book. That's Kurt Schottenheimer right there.
And the other thing, keep in mind the big leg of Nick Lowry. They are not going to have to move the football very far before he would have a shot at it.
Kurt Schottenheimer, by the way, asked me if I'd say hello to his father-in-law who's in a hospital recovering from a heart attack. So it's timely there. Bob Duffy, they want you to get well, so go ahead and do it. And would make your son-in-law very happy if the Chiefs blocked his punt.
They're going for it.
10 men up on the line. Gossett to kick. And Gossett wants
Taking
to take
a timeout.
Gossett's calling for a timeout. He's trying to get the official's attention.
He almost got the football.
Bob McElwee wouldn't look at him.
Yeah.
McElwee was looking up to the line of scrimmage, and he couldn't hear Gossett yelling.
So what did Gossett see there? Somebody who he felt was going to be...
He saw 10 men on the line of scrimmage, and he saw an unbalanced side of it that he didn't like. And that was a very, very smart move he made. Why not? Let's get it fixed.
Yep. Meanwhile, we want to point out the WWD you've been seeing on the Chiefs jerseys is in memory of Whitey Dovell, a longtime football executive who was the pro personnel director for the Chiefs. Great man and a great friend of so many in the Kansas City organization, and they honor his memory this year with the WWD.
And what a great professional, too, Al. A wonderful man, but we talked about Neil Smith, his development, Derek Thomas, Albert Lewis, Kevin Ross, the players that he brought into this franchise, and working in conjunction with Carl Peters, and Dan already touched on it. This is quite an organization. And he is well remembered as not only a talented professional, but a good friend.
We also, I guess, should mention the passing of Buck Buchanan, the Hall of Famer for the Chiefs. This has been a rough offseason for Kansas City.
Charge was on, but Gossett gets it away. It's a beautiful kick. It's fielded at the 26-yard line by Dale Carter. And for no blocking, that's not a bad run back. 14 yards back to the 40. They have 24 seconds, no timeouts after a 54-yard punt. And Elvis Patterson, the special teams maven for the Raiders, was shaken up on that play and comes limping off the field.
Kansas City well drilled in rushing the punt. They did not run into the punter in their efforts to get to it when they saw the two cornermen who were coming from the outside. When they saw they couldn't get to Gossett, they pulled up and avoided the call.
Well, we saw Kansas City's punter take one. There goes Gossett to the ground. He gets up after Willie Davis deposits in. Tough game for these kickers.
From the 40-yard line. Not that far from Lowry field goal range. Here's McNair who wants to get out of bounds, and he does at the 48. That stops the clock with 17 seconds. So to get into Lowry range, you're really looking about getting at least, well, to the, let's say, 37-yard line.
And you're really restricted to the sidelines now. Well, without a timeout, the middle of the field is taken away from you with 17 seconds.
You could gamble on it, Dan, and tell your team in the huddle, look, where they're going to have the opening is in the middle of the field. They're going to have a hard time going to the outside and getting enough yardage to go for the field goal.
You're going to have to really scramble to get to the line.
It would be a scramble.
They'd really like to get to about the 30. The 37 would make it a 54-yarder. 2nd and 2. Craig.
He can run for a bunch.
Time. Then he decides to throw, but the throw is out of bounds. He had the receiver there, Banks, or Davis, who was well covered, and Davis was on the stripe, and we have 9 seconds remaining.
I agree with you, Frank. Dave Craig could have gotten around that corner. At least it gave the impression. And if he was turned, watch this. Look at the opening there on the corner, and look at the expanse of field.
Well, he waited, I'm sure, because Dave Craig is not afraid to pull the ball down and run with it. Felt he was better served by putting it in the air. It did look like he could have got probably to the 40-yard line, which might have been within a Lowry range.
That used 8 seconds. Now we're down to 9.
Now you can only think sidelines.
3rd down and 2. Craig airing it out. Intercepted at the 11-yard line
by Ronnie Lott.
Down there. Ronnie Lott winds up making the interception.
Number 60.
So a milestone pickoff for that man as the half comes to an end. Kansas City leads it at the break, 10-7. Back we come with halftime activities, the interview with Keith Jackson, with Randall Cunningham, with Troy Aikman after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC station.
Sees NFL Monday Night Football. Brought to you by Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. By Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by refreshingly different Bud Dry. Drinks light and has real draft taste.
Back we come to Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium. It's rocking as we start the second half. 10-7. Their Chiefs are on top, and Jeff Jaeger to kick off for the Raiders. Dale Carter back deepest for the Chiefs. And Carter backs up to field this one at the goal line in the end zone, and then he downs it there for a touchback, and it would figure that Elvis Patterson is the first guy down there for the Raiders.
Patterson is arguing for a safety because it looked like the ball came out into the field of play.
I'll tell you, at least he should be arguing for it. It looked like it came very close to it.
Touchback on the play. Touchback.
Well, there's
First and 10.
the ruling by the officials. It's a touchback, and they'll set it up at the 20-yard line.
It'll be interesting to see if the Chiefs can come out and be the dominant force they were in that second quarter on the ground. They own the Raiders late in that second quarter. 2 big drives.
It's been Barry Word all the way at running back. We have not seen Christian McCoy nor Harvey Williams tonight. Dave Craig, the quarterback, hands the ball to Barry Word. And around the left side he goes for a gain of close to 8, out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Let's take a look at the numbers through the first 30 minutes of action. Raiders scored first. Then the Chiefs came back to tie and eventually take the lead at the end of the half, 10-7. Each team with 1 turnover and a slight edge in total yardage for Kansas City, especially in the rushing department.
But the Kansas City turnover didn't cost them any points. You see that the Raiders turnover cost them 3. And a bad sign for the Raiders. That was a very uncontested corner on the first play of the second half. An easy 8.5-yard pickup for Barry Word. That wasn't a tough play.
Second and a long one. This time they give it to Word again. He tries to push his way to the 30. If the nose of the ball is on the stripe, that'll be a first down. And it appears to be a little short. Word, that's his 18th carry tonight. He has 97 yards. And they're short of the first by that much.
That's one of those. Where do you spot the ball? Well, you spot it where I kind of think it should have, maybe ought to, might have been.
Kind of. Third and an inch. And look through the face mask of the venerable Howie Long. He's been around so long, he was an Oakland Raider.
Teammate of Art Shell.
Yep. The last of the Oakland Raiders. Here's Word, and he gets the first down.
Ronnie Lott gambling on a safety blitz, hit the wrong hole, and the Chiefs get the first down. Ronnie Lott plays it often like a linebacker. Watch number 42.
Well, it's a designed blitz, and he's going to be blocked by the lead back. I mean, that is Bill Jones just comes in and takes on Lott and keeps him out of the play.
He's the Steve Smith of the Kansas City Chiefs. Steve Smith, of course, the big blocking back for the Raiders.
And it's I'm sorry, Frank, it's very early in the third quarter, and already Barry Word has his 100 yards.
32 minutes into the game on 19 carries. So he's averaging better than 5 yards per carry. The fake. And Craig takes off and slides to a stop close to a first down. They'll mark it at the 41, about a yard and a half short.
Well, the Chiefs coming with the play action, and a veteran secondary of the Raiders. Even though they've been pounded on the ground, they stayed with the receivers, and Craig pulled it down, but he gets 8 yards out of it. Talked about the pounding that the Kansas City Chiefs are putting on the Raiders. The Raiders are the oldest team in pro football, and stands the reason that, well, at least one would think that they would begin to wear down a little more quickly than others.
Here's Barry Word, and he bangs his way up to the 45-yard line. He's tackled by Lott, and that's another first down for Kansas City.
Ronnie Lott wins that one.
If he keeps hitting Word, he's going to be about 4'8". He's been meeting
Word. See the Raiders, the oldest team in the league. Now, these are just the starters, not the entire roster. On offense, they're the oldest. Buffalo and Houston trail. And defensively, the Giants and the Saints trail. All the way across the board.
Notice those are also pretty good football teams.
Well, one of those old starters the last time got a good shot. Ronnie Lott sent Word backwards that time.
Of the Raiders' 47 men, 18 are 30 or over. One of them is chasing Craig. That's long, and then the pass is dropped by Bill Jones.
Yeah, one of the reasons I think we don't see Jones on the receiving end of that ball very often.
Be 2nd and 10.
Wasn't well thrown as the pressure by Howie Long on Craig made Craig hurry, but a little behind him, but one you most certainly should handle.
It was within the framework of his body. Might have been on the right hip rather than the left hip, but it was there.
2nd and 10 at the 45. Chiefs lead by 3. Early 3rd quarter. Word. Plenty of room. To the 50. "23 total rushes for Kansas City. Word, 21 of them, and the other 2 the scrambles by Craig. By the way, one other note. We talked to Keith Jackson, of course, and it was revealed tonight that he has signed a 4-year deal with Miami. One of the other 4, Garen Barris, the defensive lineman from New England, has signed a 2-year deal with the San Francisco 49ers, who lost Larry Roberts because of an injury. So Barris goes home, the Stanford guy who lives in Menlo Park, California, and now a 49er. DJ Dozier and Webster Slaughter, the other 2, granted free agency through tomorrow, have not signed. Play clock all the way down to 1. And on 3rd and short, it's underneath. The catch is made by McNair, and he is run out of bounds at the 47-yard line, and that's short of the first down.
Good tackle that time. Torrin Dorn took him high and just would not allow any forward progress. This is where McNair needs to get about 2 more yards after the catch. And once Dorn locks him up, Dorn doesn't move upfield 6 inches. Excellent tackle by Dorn.
McCallum back at the 10-yard line. Again, Tim Brown, who'd normally return kicks and would normally start as a wide receiver with a hamstring pull, and inactive tonight. Here's Barker's kick. It's a very high floating kick, and McCallum's going to let it go, and it bounces into the end zone. Carter got down there, but there was nothing he could do with it. And thus the Raiders will take over at the 20 with 9:23 left in the 3rd, and KC up by 3. Remaining in the 3rd quarter. Raiders down by 3. Marinovich, the short drop, and then his throw is caught by Willie Gault, who's been silent tonight, and Willie's first catch, and that's 14. On the right is Lamar Hunt, who's owned the Chiefs since day 1 when they were the Dallas Texans. On the left, Al Davis, who has been with the Raiders, not quite from day 1, but the embodiment of the Raiders.
Both in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Deservedly so.
Gain of 13. That was actually Gault's 2nd catch of the night. He caught one very early on. Good for a first down, and Dickerson, who didn't see any action last week when they trailed in the second half against Cleveland, takes the ball to the 36, where Martin Bayless, the safety, comes up.
Well, they only ran the ball, what, once or twice in the second half last week?
Yeah, sure.
They were down so quickly, 14-0, that he's not the guy you want in there, Dickerson, when you're trying to throw the football, and they had to throw it.
There's Steve Wright, the right tackle. You can see the bandage coming underneath his left shoulder. Remember, he left very early in the game.
2nd and 7 from the 36-yard line. Marinovich throws, finds Gault in the seam. That's a first down up at the 47-yard line. Tackled by Kevin Ross. Well, we've talked about Al Davis, who joined the Raiders shortly after they were one of the original American Football League franchises, that league commencing play in 1960. And, of course, it's been quite a storied history since 1963, a tremendous record for the Raiders, but since '86 they're a 500 ball club, and that mirror looking all screwy since last December. 0-6.
Animators are going crazy again.
Yes.
Marshall Moo did that one.
We stretched the budget on that one.
Oh, yeah. That was it. Play clock down to 0. They get the play off. Marinovich, a little shovel to nobody. Dickerson was the intended receiver of sorts. Irvin Randall is the guy who comes flying in, and Marinovich is a little slow in arising. Jay Schrader taking a look at that, and he'll get that jacket off and begin to heat up. Meanwhile,
Marinovich looks to the sideline, but he's looking for the play, but he does hobble into the huddle.
I'll tell you what we had here. We had a delay of game, and nobody heard the whistle. That was no play at all, as it turns out. It's 1st and 15 at the 42-yard line. Dickerson pounds his way to the 50-yard line off of Wisniewski blocks. Simeon makes the tackle with under 7 minutes to go in the third, and Kansas City up 10-7. Marcus Allen coming in.
Here is Steve Wisniewski, the left guard right here. Let's follow him on this play. He's going to pull and lead. Eric Dickerson right on his hip, and what a sensational block. He puts Irvin Randall on his back about 2 yards away.
That's the one they broke for 40 yards and a touchdown in the first quarter.
One of the good pulling guards in his game, Steve Wisniewski.
2nd and 7. Here come the Chiefs.
Oh my God, what a hold.
Intended for Allen, and that's incomplete.
What a world-class hold.
They caught it.
Derek Thomas, man for man on Marcus Allen. Couple of holes on that play.
Oh, there were. I saw one right at the top. Well, I think it's Steve Smith. Let's check it out right here. Number 35, right in the middle. He's working against Chris Martin.
Still second down.
Yep, that's pretty good.
2-point takedown.
That's pretty good. That brought flags from everywhere. I talked early about Smith and his lead blocking. Here's the end of the play.
That's the one I saw.
And that is Derek Thomas all over Marcus Allen, and it almost looked like it could have been interference downfield, did it not?
Could have been offsetting.
No flag downfield, though. Only the hold against Smith was called.
2nd and 17. And Marinovich gets sacked at the 32-yard line by Thomas and Moss.
Even though he goes down, what Dan said earlier, it's better to take your loss than put that ball up in the air and get it picked off. Good coverage downfield by the Chiefs. Marinovich, instead of throwing it up for grabs like he's done in the past, he takes the sack, and the Raiders will live to fight again.
Sally Amua still on the sidelines. Let's watch Thomas at regular speed. Inside Allen, inside McElroy, changes direction 3 or 4 different times, and in on the sack. Just God-given talent.
And he's turned it up another level here tonight, hasn't he? He has not been playing Derek Thomas football in the first 3 games.
3rd and 25. The crowd rises as one.
Yep.
And it's a delay to Marcus Allen. And Allen is well short of the first down. He takes it to the 44-yard line.
Oh, and here we go.
Boy,
here we go.
That might be an out of the ball game, too.
Reggie McElroy came back. I think that was McElroy 77. One Chief and one Raider were at each other, and McElroy came back in, and in hockey lingo, he was the 3rd man in, I believe.
We have a delay of the game before the snap. There was no play. However, we have a personal foul, number 77. We'll assess the 15 yards. The down remains the same.
Keep in mind, Reggie McElroy cannot afford to be thrown out of this game. He's already substituting for Steve Wright, who left the game with that bad shoulder.
And again, I think that was very close. It was so blatant. He obviously was getting even for something that was done to him, but you never want to do it on the same play. Wait around a little bit. There'll be another time.
Art Shell may have to go in and play tackle. Of course, Not many ever played it on his level.
15 years of it.
Oh.
Hall of Famer.
So what do you call on 3rd and 40?
Well, they called the draw play last time, and I'm not so sure you don't call it again. Yes, that's what's going through Terry Robisky's mind right now. Yeah. What do I call for 3rd and forever?
5:35 remaining, 3rd quarter.
I'm not sure you could punt it to the first down stake.
Here is where you hope that your quarterback, Todd Marinovich, has learned from the mistakes he's made, controls the football, doesn't try to force anything, doesn't get the sack.
The game will be assessed, and then additionally, the personal foul will be assessed.
Oh, they're going to get them for 20 yards.
Yeah, sure. Now we're to 3rd and 45.
Well, you have the delay of game, which is there, and then a dead ball. Foul after that.
Exactly.
And boy, this is...
We'll go from the 32 to the 27 on the delay, and then half the distance on the 27 for the personal foul.
27,
Take the ball to the 13.5-yard line.
Because the 15-yard penalty would be more than half the distance from the 27 to the goal line.
Yep.
Whoa.
So it's only 3rd and 43 and a half.
3rd and 43 and a half?
And a half. 3rd and a long 43.
Was that a costly penalty?
It seems to me it's obvious. You run the 44-yard out pattern.
Sure. Yep.
3rd and 43.
Well, Marcus will probably have to pay the price. He's the high percentage receiver coming out of the backfield.
Call it 3rd and a short 44.
I love the way you're so exact, Al.
Meanwhile, Steve Ortmeyer, special teams coach, wild about something and wild-eyed. Bob McElwee tells us.
The defensive team has been asked to help to quiet the crowd. We appreciate your cooperation.
This public service message was brought to you by Bob McElwee and the National Football League.
And wait till they come up to the line of scrimmage this time. What are they anticipating an automatic? It's Marinovich at 44 yards reads the defense and changes.
Allen saying, I can't hear. Help me out.
Well, and you notice that it's Marcus turning to the referee to get that call. He's the veteran player, and he's taking some of the burden away from Marinovich.
3rd and 43. That's Galt and Grady together at the bottom of the screen.
Todd, you ought to just snap it and go.
Well, remember, such a big deal was made a couple of years ago about penalizing the home team, and then that whole thing faded.
Crowd noise, the defensive team may be assessed one of their remaining timeouts.
We haven't seen this in a while. Remember, everybody thought this was going to get the whole game crazy in stadiums around the country. It hasn't turned out that way, and here's Marty saying, hey, help us out now.
I wouldn't want to be Bob McElwee if I assessed that penalty. He might overrun his position.
We need Sam Weiss to get on the PA system and say, this isn't Cleveland. Remember when Sam did that in Cincinnati?
Yes.
Oh, he caught some flack.
Raiders trailing by 3. 5:35 to go in the 3rd. Again, it's 3rd and 43. And here is Marcus Allen.
What a shot.
To the 16-yard line. He's run down by Benny Thompson.
Marcus, obviously the marked man in that situation, as call from Terry Robisky, is not going to take a chance. They're still down by 3 points.
All right, let's toss out a hypothetical softball here. If Jay Schrader was playing quarterback these last couple of downs, would the Raiders have thrown the ball downfield rather than just hand it off to Marcus Allen?
That's a good question. Probably would have.
I agree with you. They
That's
probably
the Raiders' style of doing it.
Gossett's kick. Well, it takes a great Chiefs bounce. What a break for the Chiefs. It winds up at the 47 of the Raiders. They let it bounce. It turns out to be a 31-yard putt. The Chiefs have a 3-point lead in the ball in L.A. territory. Christian Okoye makes his first appearance of the night. behind Dave Craig. It's been Barry Word all the way until now, and they put Okoye to work immediately. And then Nigerian Nightmare picks up close to 10.
The Chiefs bring in the big back. Okoye, 260 pounds. Word, 245. They can do some hammering.
Look out. Here he comes right into your living room. When you stand on the sidelines watching the Chiefs warm up and Christian Okoye comes down the tunnel, your eyes are lying to you. You cannot believe that a running back is that big.
2nd and 1. Here's Okoye putting his head down, and Howie Long grabs him along with Winston Moss and stops him for no gain. Howie Long. Long, an Oakland Raider, as we mentioned before. He and Marcus Allen were teammates of Art Shell. And it's the only such situation in the National Football League where a coach had played with any of his players.
They're going to take a look at this. Okoye last year over 1,000 yards for the 2nd time in his career. Barry Word did it in 1990.
So Okoye a little short. 3rd and inches.
Here is the spot on the field where a play action pass would be devastating. The Chiefs have been so successful in running the ball. It's short enough and at a spot on the field that you could go for it on 4th down and have a high probability of making it. If you slam the big man into the line, you might find a receiver wide open downfield.
Give you a deep one for the touchdown and give you a short one for the option.
Chiefs lead by 3. 3:45 to go in the 3rd. 3rd and 1. Fake to Okoye. Craig on a roll. A pump fake. And then he's driven out of bounds at the 37.5. And it's very close to a 1st down.
I think you've got it, Al.
Well, Aaron Wallace is the guy who bumps him out. And it is a 1st down.
By how well the Raiders had that defense, it appears I wasn't the only guy who was thinking about that.
An ideal situation, but the Raiders have not been buying any play action all night long. They've tried it about 3 times, and just good speed by Craig. He knew exactly where he had to be to get the 1st down, and he gets it.
Barely. For an old guy, he's still got some mobility, doesn't he?
He has 13 years in this league.
Yep.
And a lot of them with some pretty flimsy people in front of him up at Seattle.
He's so old. His old college doesn't even have a football team. In fact, his old college doesn't even exist. Milton University.
Here comes an audible again.
Okoye.
Boom. Oh, and Ronnie Lott is down.
That's when you're a defensive lineman or a middle linebacker or a safety, and you know that audible's coming. You're going, oh, no.
Ronnie Lott went in low and caught a knee, and he is going to, I think, go to the sideline. He was really hammered. Watch number 42 come up and take the shot from Okoye's knee.
Well, you saw what happened at the line of scrimmage, Frank. Grunard, Zott, Alt, Lutz, and Baldinger, they are dominating the line of scrimmage on this run. Oh, you saw Okoye's right knee right on Ronnie Lott's head. Watch the right knee drive right into Lott's head. Right there, right in the ear hole. I mean, he has big knees as well.
Ronnie Lott has taken some unbelievable shots tonight.
He's working the smelling salts right there.
Dave Waymer, the 13-year veteran, longtime Saint, and then 49er, spells Lott.
You see more guys knocked silly by a knee to the helmet than I think any other part of the anatomy. It's that knee driving into your head.
2nd and 1. Here he comes again.
Well, this is almost diabolical what the Chiefs are doing.
1st down, Kansas City.
Again, here's the blow. Watch the right knee. Right on the helmet of Ronnie Lott.
You know, Dan, it is not as bad as it could have been, too. And Ronnie Lott up on his feet, and those eyes are looking around saying, hey.
I think those called fixed and dilated. Oh. And look at this. Back on the field.
And he'll be Fill in the hole again if it happens another time.
Probably will.
Those 10 Pro Bowls were no accident.
1st and 10 at the Raider 22-yard line. Off the fake. Open man is Willie Davis, and he gets necktied close to a 1st down at the 12-yard line by Lionel Washington.
Raider cornerbacks, even though the Chiefs are dominating on the ground running the football, are still giving good coverage. This is a play-action fake. And not bad coverage by Lionel Washington to get back and prevent the 1st down.
All alone. Not a fun place to be for a cornerback. Safeties were all up playing the run. If Lionel Washington misplays that, Eddie Anderson, even though he's over there late, that could end up being a Kansas City touchdown. And this is a good-looking drive so far.
1st down with 1:37 remaining in the 3rd, and Shell can only shake his head.
Speed on the outside for the Kansas City Chiefs this year. And Lionel Washington, as Dan pointed out, all alone in the coverage. You just can't get up there and bump and run with him and win it.
Well, it's the kind of game the Chiefs brought Craig in to play. Handoff, throw a pass now and then, keep the drive moving, and let the defense do the rest. They lead 10-7. Emil Harry in motion. Okoye takes it to the 8. Anderson makes the tackle. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Anderson going up top on that one.
And look who's in there stuffing the play. Ronnie Lott.
We talked about this is not a big Raider team, and it is an older football team, and they have been hammered all night long, and those legs that you see out there defensively for the Raiders have been around for a long time.
Well, where are the front 7 for the Raiders? The 2 guys that had to make the hit on that one, Eddie Anderson and Ronnie Lott, the 2 safeties.
2nd and 7 at the 9. Same play. To the 7. 3rd down, and a very vital play now for the Raider defense coming up. Ricky Ellison makes the tackle. With the way the Raiders are going on offense, if they fall behind by more than a touchdown, they are in some trouble. As the clock winds down, it's going to be, when the 4th quarter begins, 3rd down and 6.
And they're happy in the other end zone. They know their Chiefs are coming at them.
3rd quarter is over. Kansas City continues to lead by 3, and will return with Monday Night Football after this word from our ABC station. Back in Kansas City, Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, and Dan Dierdorff. 10-7. Kansas City leads. The Chiefs have it at the Raider 7-yard line. 3rd and 5. Big play for the Raider defense as they're trying to limit them to a field goal attempt. Out of the shotgun. Craig steps up, keeps it. Touchdown.
Good looking play.
What a call. The Raiders had everyone else accounted for. McNair scored against Houston on a draw play from the same position on the field. This is a simple quarterback draw, and it pays off. Good call.
Watch the blocking. See Ronnie Lott? He's going to back out. Coming from your right. There comes a wide receiver. I think that was Freddie Jones, number 80, and that's the key block that sends Dave Craig into the end zone. Well blocked up front. Again, flawlessly executed by the Chiefs offensive line. The wide receivers are into it, and the Raiders had no chance.
Lowry's point after.
What a good call, though. No risk. You don't get in. You go with the 3-pointers. Very conservative, very effective on the part of Kansas City.
Jones right here. Watch him come in and make this block on Ronnie Lott. Freddie Jones is 5'9", 183 pounds. That is a well-designed and, again, a very well-executed play. You're asking a lot of a smallish wide receiver to handle one of the tougher safeties that's ever played this game. And he does it.
And you saw Ronnie Lott, who's taken a terrific pounding all game long, filling the holes from safety. I mean, he just gave up, Dan. He knew he was had.
Well, the other part of it was that Terry McDaniel, the defensive back who was locked up on Jones, if you notice, just kept running. He lost track of the football, and when Jones got tied up blocking Lott, McDaniel kept right on going. He could have fallen back into that play as well.
Nick Lowry kicks off 4 seconds into the fourth quarter. Napoleon McCallum downs it in the end zone. And the Raiders will begin a drive from the 20-yard line. 14:51 left in regulation. Chiefs 17, Raiders 7. The most attractive matchup of the year in the NFL is going to come up next Monday night, gents, as we head to Philadelphia.
Battle of the undefeateds.
Dallas and Philly.
It's going to be a fun weekend for us, though, here at ABC, because I'm looking forward to Saturday. What we got? We got Miami and Florida State. We also have Washington in action and Michigan. It's rare that we have the top 4 teams in the country all playing on the same day.
Doubleheader Saturday here on ABC as Marinovich on first down floats one over the head of Eric Dickerson. It'll be second down and 10 with 14:47 left in regulation, and Marinovich in need of guiding the Raiders all the way down the field is Schrader. The once and, well, who knows, could be future quarterback. We talked to Art Shell last night, and I know Dan asked, what's the extent of your commitment to Marinovich? And Art said, I want to win. Interpretation? Hey, if Schrader's the guy who can win, he's back in. Second down and 10. Tip incomplete. Ethan Horton, the tight end. Third down.
Now, the other side of that is, if the Raiders lose this game tonight and fall to 0-4, let's be realistic. They are not going to make the playoffs. It's highly unlikely. It would be a dream season to come back from 0-4. If that's the case, then you give Todd Marinovich all the playing time he can possibly get, because the kid needs it. We reiterate again, this is the 15th time he has started a football game since high school.
Third down and 10. Marinovich picks up that first down on a 20-yard reception by Sam Grady.
And every now and then, as I said earlier, he shows brilliance in some plays. I mean, that was a well-thrown ball. He picked up Grady in a crowd, zipped it in there. That's his range, too. He can put the smoke on it at that range. Here comes Grady, a world-class sprinter a few years ago, gold medalist, 4x100 relay. It's turned into an outstanding receiver.
First and 10 at the 40-yard line. Marcus Allen in the game. Marcus Allen gets the ball. And Marcus cannot get anything on track running tonight. Bayless makes the tackle. It's the 4th time Allen has been stopped back of the line of scrimmage. For Marcus, I mean, he has been the best of soldiers. He's been a great warrior, as it were. But here's a guy on opening night this year against Denver. He had 1 carry, no receptions, and he asked Al Davis after the game to trade him. He has now come off that, and of course he has not been traded, nor would I expect it.
Check this out for an unorthodox tackle. Martin Bayless is actually trying to get up and ends up making the tackle with his left leg.
Second and 11 from the 39-yard line. The catch is made at the 49-yard line by Ethan Horton, and that's a first down. By the way, there was a report that was erroneous that Allen said he wanted to be traded because the Raiders were not committed to winning. To wit, at that point, the man who reported that interpreted it as meaning that Allen felt Schrader wasn't the guy. Marcus said that was not the case at all.
And anyone that knows Al Davis knows his life is committed to winning.
In comes Dickerson. The Raiders in need of a big play, and the only big play that they've gotten offensively tonight was provided by Eric Dickerson on his touchdown run.
First and 10 at the 48-yard line. Marinovich. Now, there's a pass to Eric Dickerson that has no chance of connecting. Derek Thomas is there to blanket him. The pass is underthrown. Second down.
Must be nice to be good at everything you do.
Eric Dickerson.
That's Derek Thomas right now.
And Eric Dickerson did not put any move at all on the linebacker. He got the linebacker coverage. That's what you want. Unfortunately, Derek Thomas is one of the better, speedier ones around, but Dickerson just made a circle out of this. I'm watching him pick up Dickerson. Dickerson just turns this into a circle. There's no camouflaging whatsoever, and that had no chance for completion.
Well, what really, I think, fouled up the Raiders' plans is they went to Thomas's side, expecting him to rush the quarterback.
Second and 10. That's incomplete. It's third and 10. Grady, the intended receiver.
And once again, we see Martin Bayless around the football. He's talking to Willie Gault about how hard he hit Sam Grady. I think we could interpret that as he's saying, Willie, be glad it wasn't you that came in my area. I would have done it to you.
He's been quite a pickup on Plan B, hasn't he? Started out with Buffalo originally, or rather actually played up in the Canadian League. He was with Buffalo, later San Diego, and that's where he was put on Plan B, and there he is on the sidelines, and he's put out some pretty good plays today.
Also on the sidelines is Grady right now, which means Mervin Fernandez is in the game. Third and 10. Marinovich gets sacked at the 44 by Tom Sims, the backup to Sally Amua.
Oh, and here we go again. Marinovich upset with Neil Smith for falling on top of him, took the football and threw it right in Smith's face. And now everybody seems, now we have Smith on Smith. But Steve and Neil.
The KC Smith is the big Smith.
Neil Smith, at the conclusion of that play, fell on Marinovich. Marinovich took exception, got up, shoved Smith. Let's watch the conclusion of this play. There's McElroy riding Derek Thomas by. In comes Sims. And that's what Marinovich is upset about. He thinks that Neil Smith could have missed it. Smith comes in, and here comes the football. Yep, right there.
Here's Gossett to punt. Angles it to the near side. It's brought in at the 11-yard line by Dale Carter, who ran one back for a touchdown against San Diego on opening day. Dale Carter to the 50-yard line.
Boy, it looked like he stepped out of bounds, didn't it?
And there's a flag down, and there's also a little skirmish between Gossett and the Chief. And a penalty at the 43-yard line. McElwee continues to be busy.
Good sideline management by Carter.
And that
doesn't matter.
Kansas City.
Doesn't matter.
I think it was Todd McNair went after Gossett. And that might have been what brought the flag downfield.
Correction, holding on the kicking team. That penalty is declined. First down. Timeout.
He was close to stepping out. Doesn't much matter, though.
When we come back, Kansas City has the ball in Raider territory with a 10-point lead. A lot of long faces on the Raiders sideline. They are down by 10. They've not won a game this season as Robisky gets together with Marinovich. And when you look at their schedule upcoming, they face the Giants, the suddenly resurgent Giants next week. Then they have the Bills. They go to Seattle and they come back with Dallas and at Philadelphia. Good luck. Barry Word is back in the game. Ball at the 50. Word to the 47-yard line. He is tackled by Terry McDaniel up from the corner. 2nd and 7.
Talk about the Raiders schedule. It gets tough for Kansas City also. Well, they have Denver, a team they should be tied with after tonight's game at 3-1 in the Western Division of the AFC. Then they have Philadelphia here. Then they take on Dallas. And Bill Cowher, the former defensive coordinator for Marty Schottenheimer, who's done such a great job with the Steelers, will bring Pittsburgh to town.
2nd and 7. A little over 11 minutes to play in regulation. And a timeout is taken here by Kansas City. Timeout, Chiefs. They lead 17-7. Well, there's our welcome to Kansas City, gents.
That guy in the middle needs some minoxidil. You look like Conrad Dobler.
Dan looks like Dobler. I can't tell which is Frank and which is me.
Yeah,
G. Gordon Liddy appears to be in that shot as well.
I'm glad they have a Loves in there. I wouldn't know how to take that.
Oh, man.
Colorful garb all over Arrowhead Stadium here.
Right. These guys want the Chiefs to sign David Cohn. 2nd down and 7 at the 47-yard line. Chiefs up by 10 after taking the timeout. Barry Word gets tackled by Ronnie Lott. Look down from the Goodyear blimp, hovering high above Arrowhead Stadium, where more than 77,000 have packed their way in tonight on a gorgeous night. In baseball tonight, since the Twins lose to the White Sox, that means the A's have clinched the West. And meanwhile, at Anaheim, Kansas City leads California 2-0. Of significance there, George Brett of the Royals out of the lineup with a strained left shoulder. And they have a 4-game series in Anaheim before coming home. 3rd down and 5 from the 46 as Dave Craig throws underneath. McNair makes the catch and has a 1st down. They hit the 3rd down back. McNair taking it to the 33-yard line. Just to follow up on that George Brett thing, he has 2,996 hits. He has a strained shoulder. It comes at an opportune time in a way. If it's not too serious, that means he's back in the lineup this weekend when the Royals play across the parking lot against the Minnesota Twins. And I'm sure the Royals would love to see Brett do this at home.
And so would all their fans here in Kansas City. Records like that should not be set on the road. And I hope George's shoulder gets better.
Yes. Friday.
And I'm sure it will.
Yes. Friday. 1st down at the 33-yard line. Barry Word picks up 6. Aaron Wallace in on the hit. Chiefs at Denver next week.
Their stadium of doom. They just don't have a lot of confidence playing in Denver. They have not had much success there. But if ever a team, you can see the slow maturation, you can see the confidence beginning to build. This Kansas City ball club thinks now that they are the equal of the Buffalo Bills and have a legitimate chance of going to the Super Bowl. And they might be right.
2nd and 4 at the 28-yard line. Off the fake, the reverse roll. The catch is made by Emil Harry. And Washington bumps him out of bounds at the 19-yard line. 1st down.
Kansas City controlling the line of scrimmage, moving the ball on the ground. They can do pretty much whatever they want to do. And I'll tell you, this is, I don't know what this is going to do to the Raider team. Al, you follow it much more closely living there, but they're like team is like an old movie star, really, trying to gather themselves together for one last hurrah.
Well, you know, last week, Frank, we talked about the Giants trying to get it together for that one last hurrah. The Raiders don't rebuild the way other teams rebuild. They don't go out and say, hey, we're going to get a whole bunch of new young guys. You know the way they've done it in the past, and I think they'll continue to do it that way. They'll rebuild, but in a far different manner than most other clubs. It's a funny thing, though, the Raiders, with this storied tradition, since 1986, if they lose this game tonight, and we got a little skirmish developing again, if they lose this game tonight since opening day of 86, they will have been under 500, 49-50.
This will be their 8th consecutive loss also. They lost the final 3 games last year. They lost in the playoffs to Kansas City, and
Fred Biletnikoff watches their season go up in smoke.
And they've lost 3 coming into tonight.
Oh, we have a flag thrown out on the field.
It's against the Raiders.
Eddie Anderson had to be pulled out of there. And it's easy to see why. I mean, I sympathize with the guys in the silver and the black. To be 0-4, I played on a football team in the National Football League one time that opened up at 0-8. I know how they feel. and it is miserable. I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
Well, with the 1964 Al, the Raiders opened up 0-8. He was 64.
The press, yeah, Frank, the press starts to accuse you of not trying. The press will write that the coach didn't have his team prepared to play. The insinuations will come from all directions, and it's a miserable place to be, and Art Shell knows it.
First and goal after the penalty as the Chiefs try to put a ribbon around this one. They lead by 10. Fake to Word, pass to Jones, but he can't one-hand it. And it's second down, and then Anderson comes in and hits him again.
Eddie Anderson's going to be invited to have a seat on the bench pretty soon.
That's 2 now. Bill Jones has dropped that he should have caught. That one could have been 6 for him.
Now the ball was
a little smoky, but yeah. I mean, he should have had it.
A little smoky. I like that. You're right. A little smoky.
Ask Bolitnikoff.
Yeah.
That's where they are there.
Yeah. And rest assured, that was not up when the Raiders had the ball.
No. 7:15 left in regulation. Chiefs by 10.
I've never seen that before.
Word. Boom. Thrown out of bounds by Washington at about the 2-yard line. Third down and goal.
And Lionel Washington ended up hitting someone standing on the sidelines.
Penalty on the play. Tackled by Lionel Washington.
He gets Word high, throws him out of bounds, but then Lionel keeps on going, and he makes a major dent with a couple people on the sidelines. Former teammate of mine with the St. Louis Cardinals.
You know, Dan, you were talking about when you went 0-8. You were a young football team then, too, and the character of this team is so different. You're looking at guys out there played in Super Bowls. They've been #1 draft picks. I think there are 11 #1 draft picks on this Raider team. Granted, not all from the Raiders, but there's a different mentality involved with when you get older, and you're looking for that last hurrah.
Number 51, defense.
0-8.
Half the distance to the goal line. Repeat, second down.
0-8, though. Try to put this in perspective. That's the same as being a baseball player and being winless at the All-Star break.
That's true. 16 games.
Half the year.
0-4 for a team with the aspirations that the Raiders had coming into this season these guys are in shock. There's no other way to describe it. They're in shock.
An 0-81 would really be shocking.
I know, yeah. Think about it. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, there's the future and the past, I suppose. The rookie Hoskins and Eric Dickerson, second down and goal at the 4-yard line. Craig, incomplete. When I say the future and the past, Hoskins is a defensive back, but Frank, you were talking about what the Raiders have to start to think about doing. Do you start bringing in the people? They're very high on this Hoskins, by the way, the rookie defensive back, Derek Hoskins out of Southern Mississippi. But do you have an entirely new infusion of young talent?
I think you're dealing with too much. I mean, there are...
Holding, number 79, offense, 10 yards, repeat, second down.
That's Dave Zott, the left guard. Somebody tackled Chester McLaughlin.
Who would have believed that? That's fascinating. Several of those games, of course, with Indianapolis.
Yes, several of them.
Well, 10 of them. Last time he was on a winning team, we did a Saturday night game in Indianapolis at the end of the 1990 season when the Colts upset Washington. And that's the last time he went into the locker room victorious. Second and goal at the 14-yard line. Barry Word, well, he's out of bounds. It'll be third down and goal. 6:39 left in regulation. Even though the Raiders are in the game, down by 10, they're in the game, but they're really not. They've given no indication that they're going to march down the field on the Kansas City defense.
This is Monday night, though, and strange things.
Yeah, that's exactly what we thought a couple of weeks ago in Cleveland. Next Monday, Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. A wonderful matchup.
Let the hype begin.
Yeah, let it begin right now. Dallas, Philadelphia.
You know, we have a lot of great matchups on Monday night, but Every now and then one comes up that I want to see. And I want to be there for that one.
You got it.
3rd and goal.
We don't even have to buy a ticket either.
Great suit.
Craig gets sacked at the 23, so they went from 1st and goal inside the 5 to an Andre Bruce sack and a 40-yard field goal attempt. 6:06 remaining.
Wonder how many people can remember that Andre Bruce was the first player taken in the 1988 draft. Not the first player taken by the Falcons, the first player taken in the draft.
And then Neil Smith that year was the 2nd player chosen. Meanwhile, Smith's career on an upward cycle, and Bruce trying to resurrect his with the Raiders. This is a 41-yard attempt for Lowry. Barker puts it down. And the former Dartmouth star booms one through with 5:36 remaining. That makes it 20-7 Kansas City. Well, early in the 2nd quarter tonight, the Raiders had the lead, but it was short-lived. It was 10-7 at the half. It is 20-7 now with 5:36 left. Lowry's kick, fielded by McCallum. He's going to come out from a yard in. And McCallum gets hit down at the 22-yard line. The Raiders, still the kings of Monday Night Football, 29-8-1 through the years. As you see the numbers on the Chiefs scoring drive. But the Raiders now, well, they've come back to real life on Monday nights. If they lose tonight, they will be 6-6 in their last 12 Monday night games. There's a qualifier there. Every one of them has been on the road. Raiders have not played a Monday night game at home since '85. The reason is simple. The National Football League, nor ABC really, is interested in playing a game in a stadium that's not going to sell out. And the Raiders almost never sell out in the Coliseum, so thus games are not scheduled there on Monday nights. Marinovich throws. The catch is made by Horton. And Horton out of bounds at the 50. And I only bring that up, Frank, as a corollary to what you said about the future of the Raiders, because not only do they have big problems on the field, they've got big problems with their field. They can't get the renovation at the Coliseum that they had hoped for. It's been a long time in coming. They can't come close to selling out. They had 48,000 last week. It's a lot of empty seats.
Well, didn't they have 48,000, and there wasn't there like 8,000 tickets bought by Browns fans there in Southern California?
And they become less an attraction as a commodity as they go downhill on the field.
Under pressure, Marinovich throws, and that's incomplete.
They have given some great moments over the years, though.
They're going to call in for Downing.
Intentionally grounding the football. Lost it down. You threw it away. You threw it away.
That's right. Turn off your microphone, Bob.
That's a judgment call by Bob McElwee. If he threw it away, whether or not there was a receiver in the area or not, if he rules that he intentionally threw it away, he can make that call. And
Todd Marinovich better be careful. Let's watch this. Here's Marcus Allen standing right there. I have to agree with Todd Marinovich. He wasn't being held. And this is not baseball, Todd. You do not argue with NFL officials. It is not tolerated. It is not allowed.
No foul on the play.
And you know
no
what?
Foul on the play.
Good play. Bob McElwee.
No foul on the play.
That's a good referee.
Bob McElwee listened to his other officials who told him that Marcus Allen was there, and that is nice quality officiating by Bob McElwee. Don't think you're the only guy that sees what's going on. Nice play, Bob.
He was attempting to get the ball to number 32.
Nice,
there will be
nice
no
job.
foul.
Well, you said it at the very beginning. He's one of the last men, and there are a lot of them in those zebra shirts. But we had him in Super Bowl 25, got to know him there, and he is, well, Marty excellent official. He made a great change to the call.
Yeah, we got to know him all right, didn't we? We're trapped on an elevator with him for an hour and a half.
It's simply incomplete. It is second down and 10 at the 50-yard line. Marinovich hits Smith He's tackled at the 46-yard line by Albert Lewis.
And I think he stayed in bounds also. So the clock continues to motor.
4:35 remaining. Kansas City up by 13. Third down and 6. Marinovich too high for Marcus Allen. Another flag is down at the 38-yard line. Completely away from the play on the near side of the field.
Illegal cut, number 29 defense, 5-yard penalty on the previous spot, first down.
That's Albert Lewis. Clear on the opposite side of the field from where the pass was thrown.
Getting to be a little bit of concern on the Kansas City bench.
Yeah, this is. Oh, yeah, look at Albert Lewis at the upper right-hand corner. He's actually dragged down by Ethan Horton, who then, in essence, falls over the top of it.
So it's a first down at the 40-yard line, and Marinovich is going deep for Willie Gault, but he's double covered, and it's incomplete. Kevin Ross was there, and Terry came over late to help out. Good coverage.
There has been just sensational secondary play in Kansas City for many, many years. You go back to people like Emmett Thomas and Johnny Robinson and on through the 70s and the 80s.
Cherry.
It has just always been remarkable here, and it continues.
Ross is one of the best ones, number 31, multiple Pro Bowls in his background. Has Farrar and Albert Lewis aside. That was textbook there.
And Lloyd Burris, who retired last year, had a big interception to turn last year's game around here. Catch is made. That's Mervin Fernandez, the former starter, who's now been relegated to spot duty because of the emergence of Tim Brown and Sam Grady as well.
And that tackle there made by Dale Carter, a fellow by all appearances we may end up adding to that list if he fulfills his potential and what he looks like early in his career. He's just a baby, but he's going to be stupid.
No huddle for the Raiders.
Third down and 4. Pressure. He escapes the first man, but not the second. Tom Sims. After Neil Smith slowed him down and forced him to duck, Sims finished them off.
Sims in there for an injured Dan Saliamua and playing well tonight, but again, Smith with the pressure.
And now the Raiders are going to have to go for it on 4th and long.
And I think you saw Terry Robisky signaling that he wanted the Raiders to take a timeout. That's McElroy trying to run Smith to the outside.
Los Angeles.
A lot of good football players are calling Kansas City home.
3:38 remaining. Quite a night for Neil Smith. Early on, he was hurt, suffered a mild concussion. His return was questionable, but he's had a big night. Derek Thomas has created enough havoc. And the Raiders, with their last gasp at 4th and 12 at the 42. 3:38 remaining. Kansas City leading by 13. And Marinovich, an off-balance, bad pass. Marcus Allen closest to it, double covered, no chance. Turn it over to the Chiefs.
And for Marinovich, he had to release it. Smith was barreling in.
You want to know what happened? Mosbar snapped the ball early. That ball was snapped before the Raider offensive team was expecting it.
Certainly before
Mosbar, their 3-time Pro Bowl center, but the ball came up before anybody else was moving.
Smith was looking at the football and beat the offensive line, and nothing else that Todd Marinovich could do. Long night for Al Davis.
Yep.
Long year, and it's going to get a lot longer.
Well, a 6th consecutive, not counting tonight, and not counting a playoff loss as well to Kansas City. Here's Barry Word. Now the Raiders are going to have to take their timeouts on defense to conserve the clock, which they do here. They've got all of them remaining. Stops the clock with 3:24. Look at the numbers on Marinovich. Under 50%, 151 yards. You know, last week we talked about 59 passes. That's an indication of one thing normally, that you're coming from behind throughout the game. He also had 395 yards, and his McElroy reflects the Raider thoughts and feelings right now. And you look at Marcus Allen, if you divide 395 by 59, you come out to about 6.7 yards per pass last week from Marinovich. That's not even the league average.
And throw in 3 interceptions, Al, and 5 sacks.
Yeah, so when you see 395, you say, okay, the guy had a pretty good day, even if he did it in a losing cause. But if there's so many statistics, if you only pay attention to one for quarterbacks, it's yards per pass attempt. The league average is normally a little less than 7. If a guy averages 8, that's real good. 9 or more is great.
No, I'm going to throw out the statistic I think that matters with Todd Marinovich. He should be a senior in college.
Yeah, fifth-year senior, he would be at SC. Here's Okoye. Well, he turns nothing into a little something. It's going to make it 3rd down and about 4 up at the 48. And the Raiders take another timeout.
That's their last charge timeout.
And the Jay Schrader that the Raiders gave one of the great offensive tackles to obtain back in 1988. Jim Lachey went to the Washington Redskins, and he has been a mainstay over the left side of the Washington Redskins Super Bowl efforts.
Funny, those numbers that came up look almost like Marinovich's numbers last week against Cleveland.
Kansas City has made believers out of a lot of people, and certainly this city. They're sold out here at Arrowhead for the rest of the season. They were sold out this summer. They're an improved team over the one that has gone to the playoffs for the past 2 years. And they think they have taken the next step. That is to become a very viable Super Bowl contender.
3rd and 4. The brothers discussing it.
The brothers Schottenheimer. That's like a good movie.
3rd and 4 at the 48. Here's Okoye to the 49. He's a little short of the 1st down, and the Raiders are out of timeouts. They did use one before their 4th down play on their last series, so they cannot stop the clock. It'll only stop at the 2-minute warning. Say the Schottenheimer family has made its mark here in Kansas City with the brothers, Marty and Kurt. I'm listening to the radio today. Marty's wife is doing a commercial for a jewelry store.
A jewelry store?
Yes, he is. You gotta love it.
Marty's an accomplished pilot. Flying is his passion. Has a nifty new little Bonanza, and away he'll fly into the sunset after this. And you got to be feeling good about his football team. They play hard. They play tough.
And may we point out that my colleague on my right, Mr. DIERDOFF, is turning into a veritable Smiling Jack.
I like it.
Soaring into the blue yonder.
Get my white scarf and away I go.
Snoopy in the back.
Tell you what I'd like to do. I'd like to go for a blimp ride. I've never been up in the blimp.
I have to admit, I got a blimp one time to take my daughter Vicky up for her 16th birthday, and all the friends that she could get into the bottom of.
Did you?
5 yards, still 4th down.
I wouldn't go, but it was quite a party.
If I tell you when my birthday is, will you take me up in the blimp?
Well, I'm not sure how many we can get in there with you.
This is a beautiful football stadium. The lines are just classic.
That sucker's getting closer.
Anyways, that's Neil Smith, not Otis Sistrunk. One of the more memorable shots was of his steaming bald pate
from the University of Mars.
Brian Barker's kick is it's a mini fair catch. McCallum put the arm up. He was also protecting himself as well. And he makes the fair catch inside the 10.
McCallum's done a good job filling in for Tim Brown, according to the Raiders fact book, which is sometimes very interesting. He has not returned to punt since 1986 until he came in to tonight's game. That was one of your almost fair catch indications.
It's a good job handling the ball. There's Tim Brown. He will probably be ready to play next week.
Hamstring problem.
They face the Giants next week in Los Angeles. And as we've told you, Kansas City goes to Denver, and that'll be a battle for first place in the AFC West between two teams that are 3-1. Marinovich throws underneath. That's Fernandez. Mervin to the 19, close to a first down, and we come to the 2-minute warning. That much time remaining with Kansas City on top, 20-7. Two minutes left. Kansas City leading 20-7. Raiders do not have a timeout. They have a first down at their own 20-yard line. Again, if you joined us late, picked us up along the way in the second half. Announced earlier tonight, Keith Jackson, the Philadelphia tight end, is now a Dolphin. 4-year contract with Miami. Garen Veras, another who had that free agency window for 5 days, has become a 49er. First down from the 20-yard line. And that's intercepted off the tip by Charles Mincy. Touchdown.
A little ironic in a way. Ethan Horton was a former Kansas City Chief #1 draft pick out of North Carolina as a running back.
And he's hurt as well, Frank. He took a good shot and he hobbles off the field. I think defining at this moment what it means adding insult to injury.
And there is Ethan Horton. Ball, again, had a lot on it, but one that he just didn't concentrate on. Should have caught. The deflection. Kansas City extends their lead. Mincy replacing a legend here in Kansas City, Deron Cherry, who retired with 50 interceptions.
First interception of Mincy's career and first touchdown.
Raiders were offside on that attempt to block the extra point.
Charles Mincy, 5th-round draft choice last year.
Offside, 43 defense. The point is good. And force a foul on the kickoff.
Well, they're heading home, but they're heading home very happy here in Kansas City.
Remember last year,
Very slowly, too.
we had Kansas City against Houston, and they had all the problems in the defensive secondary. Albert Lewis was out. Kevin Ross was out. They were scrounging around for somebody to play. And you look at the secondary now with their #1 draft pick, Dale Carter. Lewis healthy. Ross is healthy. The way Benny Thompson played last week against Houston with 3 interceptions. Mincy coming on. Bayless playing like he's played tonight. I would say that's one of the strengths of the team now. And it got him in all kinds of trouble a year ago.
The Raiders of the lost cause. No mercy in the National Football League.
Not between these two franchises.
No, sir.
Well, when you lose on the road on a Monday night, it's really tough. You've got a short week. You've got a lousy plane ride home. Everybody's banged up, and you got a game that you got to play on Sunday.
And to fly home 0-4 makes a bad situation all the worse. 17 unanswered second-half points for Kansas City.
And looking ahead to the schedule that we've talked about, the Giants, the Bills, the Seahawks, and the Cowboys before they get a week off.
27-7 is the score. Here's McCallum. And they'll start from the 20-yard line. Well, we know a lot of you are on the edges of your seats if you bet the over and under. So we've got 1:51 to go. 27-7.
You can do that?
Occasionally. The executive producer, Jack O'Hara, the Wolfman, doing a scintillating job as always. Ken Wolf, our producer. Tonight's game directed by Craig Janoff. Joe Chavo, as always, our technical director, with nary a knuckle job. Ben Harvey, our associate director.
2 handicap.
Yes, sir. Dick Buffington and Nancy Stern producing halftime. Fred King and Mitch Green. Assistants to the producer, Ed Delaney, the rest of the gang, Steve Hurt, our director of information, as Nick Bell carries out to the 38-yard line. Our statistician, as always, George Hill of Everywhere. Spotter, Malibu, Kelly Hayes. Of course, Keith Jackson joined us tonight from Malibu, where he signed his new contract. Kirsten Anderson, our keeper of the zoo here in the booth, our stage manager, and Mark Amento and Brian Mogelson, our computer statisticians. And this traveling road show now proceeds to Philadelphia next Monday night.
The dogs bark and the caravan moves on.
Yes, sir. Here's Bell.
That's the Raiders' way of saying we're going home.
Yep. Meanwhile, we pointed out before that Eric Dickerson has been on the losing end since the next to last game, 1990. So that's another one. That's 15 now. 15 straight times he's gone into the locker room with a losing ball club. That's pretty shocking when you think about it. Marinovich just running out the clock. Nick Bell again. And that's going to do it. And the Kansas City Chiefs have begun this year with a mark of 3-1, the only loss in overtime to Houston. And they go to Denver for the shootout at Mile High next Sunday.
This is a good football team. It's solid everywhere. Barring a lot of injuries, they're going to be close at the end. Art Shell, we had him on his first Monday night victory back in 1989 when he took over this team in October on a Monday night game, and his victory over the Jets that night, which we were all cheering for him to be a success, and he'll be back.
And I sympathize with him tonight. A good friend and a good man. Got a tough way to go.
Wins it 27-7. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorff. Talk to you from Philadelphia next Monday. Good night from Kansas City.
Saturday, ABC Sports presents a blockbuster college football doubleheader. First in a national game, the number 2 ranked Miami Hurricanes meet 3rd ranked Florida State. Then regional action follows as number 1 Washington hosts USC. Or 4th ranked Michigan meets Iowa. Now, except on the West Coast, stay tuned for your late local news and ABC News Nightline over most of these ABC stations. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football has been brought to you by all the team members at Saturn. A different kind of company, a different kind of car. By Levi's new loose-fitting jeans, by ITT Corporation, building people's dreams, and by Pennzoil, performance, protection, and quality ever since America learned to drive. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
1992 season, the Raiders have held on to the football just about as tightly as California cities have held on to the Raiders. Turnovers at a rate of over 4 a game had afflicted the silver and black, and that's before they visited Kansas City, a place where they tend to cough it up even more than usual. Now let's see if we can get the video effect here. It's twilight. It could be the twilight of Eric Dickerson's career. Well, he's lost 14 consecutive games. What about Marcus Allen? He was rumored to be traded. First play, Dickerson stuffed at the line of scrimmage in front of the biggest crowd at Arrowhead in 20 years. Allen shows a little agility still, but all he did was delay the inevitable, still loses 8 yards. Albert Lewis on the tackle, Art Shell going, I can play this game still. Chiefs not faring much better early on. Barry Word dropped for a loss of 3. Word down. Dave Craig, Bill Jones is wide open. Overthrew him. Chiefs went first 4 possessions without a first down. Howie Long was checking the manicure. He was so bored. 2nd and 4. Dickerson breaks one 40 yards. His longest touchdown in 3 years. It almost looks like a flashback to the Rams days. But the Chiefs strike back. Barry Word, a huge hole presented to him by his offensive line. Thank you very much. He does the dipsy doodle. And to the 4-yard line, that sets up Dave Craig. Fakes the move. Keeper. First touchdown for him in 5 years, and it's a 7-7 tie. Todd Marinovich starting in the place he started the end of last season for the Raiders. Not so fortunate. Bill Moss with the almost sack. Marinovich tries the Ken Stabler versus the Dolphins maneuver, but it gets picked off by Doug Terry. And that sets up a Lowry field goal. The Neil Smith show begins. A little hand literally on Marinovich, enough for a sack, and more celebration than sack right there. Swing. Then it is nightmare time. Time for you to be the defensive line. He runs over Eddie Anderson and puts a knee to the helmet of Ronnie Lott, and it's time for the smelling salts for Ronnie Lott and the Los Angeles Raiders. A Dave Craig touchdown, keyed by Freddie Jones's block on Ronnie Lott, and that's all she wrote. 7-yard touchdown, 17-7 at this point. Celebration for Dave Craig as the Chiefs prevail over the Raiders again in Kansas City by a differential of 20 points. The Chiefs defense does the story, and Dave Craig hadn't scored a touchdown in 5 years, 2 of them. First Kansas City quarterback to score 2 touchdowns in a game since Bill Kenny did it in 1983. Barry Word goes over 100 yards again, the 3rd time this year. The story with the Raiders' problems can be graphically shown here. In the last 8 games against anybody, which they have lost all 8, the 0-4 finish last year, the 0-4 start this year, the longest losing streak since Al Davis worked his way up from an assistant coach to become the boss of the Raiders. And in the last 6 against the Chiefs, they have averaged a differential of almost 6.5 points a game on the wrong side. The turnovers have been horrendous, 17-5. As you see, it's not a good future for the Raiders in Kansas City or anywhere else, Dan.
Well, if the Raiders are going to check into the win column next week, they have to do so against the Giants, who looked pretty good last week, but had the week off to prepare for the Raiders. Mark Schwartz earned his money tonight. He had to flag down a Raider coming off the field and ask them about the season and what's gone wrong. The guy he got, Ethan Horton. Here's Mark.
Well, the Los Angeles Raiders have slipped a little bit further into their silver and black hole, and joining me is tight end Ethan Horton. Ethan, late in the game, Raiders down 20-7. Ball seemed to be in your hands, but it slipped right out.
Yeah, it just went right through my hands. I mean, there's no excuses. Good pass, it just went through my hands and made a play.
Is the season seem to be slipping through the Raiders' hands? I mean, 0-4 for a Raider team is unheard of.
Well, yeah, we made some mistakes, just like the one I made before, but we got to get it together as a team, and I think we will, and we've still got some more football left.
Is there a belief in Todd Marinovich? It seemed like Marinovich was the guy you really believed in, but the offense really has not clicked with Todd as quarterback.
Oh, yeah, it's a team unit. I mean, it's everybody. It's not just one person. We got to get it together as a team, and we'll do that, and we'll come back strong.
Marinovich has now started, 4 games as a pro, 3 of them against Kansas City, and he's 0-3 against them.
Had to be strange for Ethan Horton, the former Chief, coming back and losing.